big part of this game, I believe. You have two offenses that are high-powered, have a lot of weapons on both sides. They have two defenses that they've had struggled at times during the year, but then have also locked down the play as well. It's going to be a matter of the special teams, who can get the field position, who can win that field position battle, and who can then take advantage of that as well.
So the ball from the 41-yard line, start things off for the Notre Dame Crusaders. And the biggest surprise, Matt, that you see is Colin Quintano is in at quarterback after getting injured earlier this year.
Yeah, talking to Coach Stanball and Coach Jordan of the Notre Dame staff, they lost Colin Quintano against Southern Lehigh in Week 3 to a shoulder injury, and they're happy to have him back. He was having a fantastic season heading into that game, and then just got a small hiccup with that. They're looking to get him back. They have him back today, and like you said, it's do or die for Notre Dame to get into the playoffs.
2nd down and 8. Quintano going up top, has a receiver, and he connects inside the 20-yard line. A perfect pass play into the hands of Derek Berlitz. There's a flag thrown in at the end of the play as well.
And based on the Notre Dame sideline, looks like it's going to come against Notre Dame. But as you said, a nice pass by Quintano, finding his receiver down the sideline. Wilson defender never turned his head in man-to-man coverage, trying to go man-to-man across the back and match up their skill guys and stop the run. Cornerback, as I said, never looked back for the ball and wasn't able to locate it. And just a nice ball placement, nice catch by Notre Dame.
On the 34, 1st and 10.
And as you know, Al, in these rivalry games, that's the emotion of it. Can you control the emotion? Can you control that and not give yourself penalties that put you in a negative situation? They lost that hit here early in the game. Coach Stanball and his staff will look to get his guys settled down and just let them come back out and just play the game with emotion, but controlled emotion.
On the ground they go, far side. Frauen and a flag on the play inside the 30, down to about the 25-yard line.
I think we're going to get a holding call against Notre Dame. It looked like it was a hold on the edge as number 11 from Wilson, safety Jacob Lutry, came up to try to set the edge. And the offensive lineman reached outside, grabbed the shoulders, and just pulled him back in, giving the running back from Notre Dame the space to the outside.
So a couple of, early penalties, costly a little bit.
And I think, when you're Coach Stanball, you're looking at this, and he's a very smart coach. He knows, I don't need to get all back in one play. I'm just going to work this way, probably 4-down territory at this point. Just get it back little by little.
Quintano running, and he gets popped on the play. And the first guy in there on the stick was Taylor Sheridan.
Credit the secondary of Wilson on that play. They ran a quick screen go by the slot guy looking for Grego down the sideline. Wilson was not fooled by that. And then once Quintano pulls off of that one route guy, really they did not have anyone else to throw to, and it was the pressure that got to him and brought him down for the loss.
Looking to throw this one, and that one incomplete. Was looking down the field. And Derek Berlitz couldn't get to it.
Wilson in secondary that time had Jacob Lutry back over top, but gets turned around. Quintano had his receiver behind the secondary, and that's something Wilson cannot let happen.
Third and 24, the ball is at the 48-yard line.
So 3rd down and 24. The ball sits at the 48. Quintano checks, has a receiver, and that one tipped up. And good job defensively by Nick Gara.
Yeah, Nick Gara in that set. Coach Labach has a few different sets for his defense there. Nick Gara goes to a down lineman, stands up at that position with a pass rush, gets his hand up at the last second to deflect that pass. Quintano looking for his running back. Matt Frauen coming out from the slot on the left side, just couldn't get him the ball, and had a lot of empty space in front of him.
Nice roll.
And this one gets inside the 10 down to about the 7-yard line, and we'll see Wilson come out for the first time. So not the way you wanted to start if you're Notre Dame, because you had opportunity there, but a couple of penalties really moved you back, Matt.
The penalties definitely moved them back. I mean, one thing you have to watch later on in the game, Christian Grego is the punter for Notre Dame. They're running the rugby kick on that one, and if he sees an opening, I have to bet Coach Stanball has given Grego the green light. If he has an opening, he's going to take off and look to try to capitalize and get a first down.
So from their own 9, and they'll start things on the ground, and trying to pop through the defense and nowhere to go was Nick Gara. Or Alex Snyder, excuse me.
Alex Snyder on the carry.
I think you're going to see that in this kind of field position, Notre Dame's going to stack the box versus the run. They're going to try to get 8, 9 guys in the box and force Wilson to run the ball. And if they have to, if they can get Wilson, will continue to run the ball this far in their own, deep in their own territory. They don't want to create any kind of turnover, make any kind of mistake.
Second down and 8. The ball sits at the 11-yard line. Underway here from Notre Dame, and we get a flag.
Oh, come on.
So far, that is what, the third penalty on the Crusaders.
Penalty, yes. Uncharacteristic of Notre Dame at this point in time, especially 10th week in the season. You expect them to be a little more disciplined. So after getting a good stop on first down, putting a second and long, Notre Dame gives them 5 free yards, which allows them to open up the playbook.
Second down and 4, the ball at the 16. Good look at Caden Stem. He's had a tremendous year to this point, and on the ground they go once again, and busting through a couple tackles once again is Alex Snyder.
Wilson runs a trap, and they bring the guard across. They pick off Shaq Harris, defensive end, who is coming through, actually playing D-tackle right now. They pick him off as he gets deep, and then they run the ball right underneath him for a nice pickup.
First and 10 from the 25, 8:55 left in the opening quarter. Stem will keep it on the ground, this time on the handoff to C.J. Fazio. And Fazio pushes forward and looks like he may move the chains.
Nice run by Fazio. I think he is going to get the first down. But what I really like what he does there is when he gets into traffic, he puts 2 hands around the ball and pulls it in tight, and not allowing the Notre Dame defenders to try to get in and strip the ball at all. And then he has some help from his teammates pushing the pile. Nice drive starting out here by Wilson.
Well, so far it has been a handful of injuries to get penalty flags to get things started here in this contest. Matt, we're not even 4 minutes in.
No, we're not. And I think you're seeing the emotion get to the best of Notre Dame. And when you look at this game, Notre Dame has all the pressure on them. The bullseye's on their back. They need to win this game to get in the playoffs. Wilson's secured in their playoffs, so they're playing relaxed football. Notre Dame just needs to settle down and get themselves just going.
Yeah, and right now it's Wilson that gets themselves going, and they're doing a pretty good job, to start things off with Snyder another run. And, we're not usually in this position where, Wilson – it's usually Notre Dame's in and Wilson's trying to get in. It's reversed a little bit.
Correct. I do like the fact how Coach Stanball said before the game to us, Al, how, we mentioned that to him. He goes, well, he had to correct us where, last year they lost early on and they had to win every game from there on out just to qualify for the playoffs. It was that tight. And they're kind of in that situation again.
Outside, it's Fazio, and Fazio busts to the outside and get across midfield down to about the 47-yard line, depending on where they spot this one.
And I think this is what we're seeing. The one thing that Notre Dame lacks a little bit defensively is their run defense. If Wilson can continue to establish this running game, that they're going to keep themselves in the game. They're going to do two things. Not only keep themselves in the game, they're keeping the ball out of Notre Dame's offense's hands.
I don't like all that Wilson talk over there.
Second down and 5. The ball sits at the 47. 7:25 on the clock.
Clock's good.
Getting a good job from the offensive line to give you that extra push forward at the same time. Offensive line's been doing a good job.
And that's where, you go back and look at all the games we've done so far this year, Al. It's always been the offensive and defensive line. Whoever's won that battle in the trenches, they've been the team that's come out on top. We have very seldom seen anybody lose that battle in the trenches and come out with a win.
So 7:13 on the clock.
Shaq lost a shoe. Re-horseshoe that kid. Get him out there.
The ball sits at the 41.
And clock.
Ball's at the 41-yard line, first and 10.
To make a stop.
And getting across the 40 down to about the 39-yard line.
Gain of 2.
By 23.
On the stop for Notre Dame is Mattis.
Andy Mattis was the defender for Notre Dame, linebacker coming in to make the stop. The offensive guard pulling for Wilson didn't see him sitting in the hole. He just comes up undetected, able to stop Fazio before he can get started.
Early part of this one, 6:31 on the clock, no score. Second down and 8 from the 39-yard line. Wilson with a good drive to start things off. After Notre Dame had some opportunities, but they had a couple penalties that brought them back. Big story so far, obviously, is quarterback is Colin Quintano is playing after being injured in the third game of the season. That one to the outside and another run by Snyder. Snyder, by the way, coming into the game with 531 yards on 104 carries.
17 on the stop.
On the stop is Jake.
And Wilson committed to this running game, trying to shorten the game, keep the possession, keep the ball out of Notre Dame's offense's hands. And at this point, with 3rd and 4, 3rd and 5, you have to believe this is going to be two-down territory for the Wilson offense.
Make a damn stop.
That's what Chris just told me. Watch this film. Side judge, and him not
Curse? All right, finally.
First mistake by Wilson there with a false start. It looked like when the play was over, the center didn't snap the ball on the cadence that they called.
On the snap.
Now we have yet to see Wilson put the ball in the air. We have yet to see Caden Stem use his arm to help him out. You have to think with 3rd and long, that's coming here.
Clock's good.
Throwing here, a little flare to the near side to Zach Gillen. And Gillen will get down towards the 30-yard line. Looks like he is close to another first down. Wilson said it is a...
If there's any.
Yeah, that time Stem finds Zach Gillen. Nice safe pass, more like a long handoff to Gillen on the outside. They have two guys blocking in front, and then it becomes a one-on-one between Gillen and the safety, number 11, Gavin Gibbs. Gibbs comes up, grabs on, holds on as long as he can to help his teammates come and help out, and then just gets enough to get that yardage back that they lost with the penalty, but then also the yardage with the first down.
Down or whatever you need, we can move them. All right, yeah. We want to move them out that way? Is that
From a 31-yard line. 5:24 on the clock.
guys right here? All right. I won't get him to sit down, but I can. All right.
Number 5, Alex Snyder, they're going to carry.
I mean, we can also make our own adjustments.
Not very much room there on the run with Snyder to the right, Al.
Gain of 6.
Just enough space for him to sneak through. And you really wouldn't say that with Alex Snyder sneaking through anything at 6 foot, 180-pound running back. But able to sneak through the hole, elude a couple tackles to get the nice gain, to put him in a great second down situation.
Second down and 4, the ball at the 25. How about this drive, though? There's 4:50 on the clock, man. This is exactly what Coach Laboch wants to do. Don't give Notre Dame the football, and right now they're doing a great job. Wide open there on the pass play, and that's another close to a first down on the catch by Zach Gillen.
And what I'd like to say here, you're looking at, as you said, a real nice drive by Wilson's offense, but what you're seeing is nothing but safe passes. They're putting Stem as a sophomore in great situations where he's throwing high percentage passes, high percentage reads. He's not really having to make a whole lot of reads. He's looking at one defender, seeing where he goes, and he's throwing the ball where the defender's not, to his receiver who has a lot of space.
First and 10 from the 19. They continue to give the ball to number 26, and Snyder continues to push his way forward. When you get in those 3-4 yards, you're getting the job done. You're doing what you need to do.
Absolutely, and what you do, and every coach will talk about it, you put yourself in a 2nd and 6, a 2nd and 5, a 2nd and 4. You have a lot of options offensively in your playbook. But you also build confidence in your offensive line. I think the one thing that should come out of this drive, points or no points, that offensive line has to come off the field thinking, we can do a lot of things. We can open up some holes for our offense.
The ball at the 15-yard line. The clock at 3:35. Stem's going to throw and connects again with Gillen. Gillen inside the 10. And they can get a first down.
Pass complete to Zach Gillen.
Gillen comes in as their leading receiver for Wilson. 32 catches, 624 yards, and 9 touchdowns so far this season. You're seeing him. He has 3 catches on this drive alone today.
First and goal at the 9.
Play Wilson every week. This guy is engaging. We're good there or not?
First and goal from the 9.
Snyder.
All right, finally.
You see a slip as he's trying to cut off the inside foot. That's one thing running backs coaches will tell their running backs. When you're trying to make that cut, you have to cut off the outside foot. You can never cut off that inside or you're going to go down every time. Alex Snyder, I think, just saw the hole, saw the cutback a little bit too fast for him to get back there and get the traction that he needed.
We'll give him 2nd and 8. He gained a yard on that trip. Don't get excited down there.
I'm neutral.
I can hear it in your voice.
I'm neutral.
Ball sits at the 8-yard line. Stem will keep it on the ground on the handoff to Fazio, and Fazio will go in for the 8-yard touchdown. So the Warriors on top on a 8-yard touchdown by C.J. Fazio.
But take it a step further, Al. That's over a 90-yard drive by that Wilson offense, taking a ton of time off the clock and coming across and finishing with points. Fazio with a nice run. He eludes the tackle, nothing more than a stretch play to the 3 receiver side. He eludes one tackle in the backfield and then uses his receivers as blockers on the outside, finds the lane to the end zone for the 8-yard touchdown.
Good.
And that one is no good.
Oh, no good.
6-0 as it goes wide to the right. And with that, our student reporters, Tyler Carlbond of Wilson, a junior, and Ben Carlin of Notre Dame, a senior. We go down to the field in their first report.
All right, hi, I'm Tyler Carlbond, Wilson area sports reporter here with Elijah Rivera from Notre Dame. And so we're here at the big rivalry game. And so for keys for both teams, what do you think is going to happen for some keys for Notre Dame?
Coach Stambaugh just mentioned that they want to attack their secondary. And that's what they did their first drive, but it looked like Wilson stopped them.
All right, and for Wilson, I feel like on the offensive side, they want, as we saw in their first drive, they want to get the run going. They want to get C.J. Fazio and Alex Snyder on the roll. And on the defensive side, they're relying on 3 key seniors in Chris Striel, Alex Snyder, and Nick Guerra, and they're hoping to stop this ND offense. How do you think this game's going to come down like towards the end?
It's going to be back and forth. Whoever has the ball last, I feel like who's going to win.
Yeah, I feel like it's going to be to end in the 20s somewhere, but I feel like, as you said, whoever has the ball last is going to win this football game. And Wilson's going to need to get Caden Stem and Zach Gillen going also, too. And so other than that, you have anything else you want to say?
It's 6-0 right now. It's looking like a great game right now.
All right, but other than that, we'll send you back up to Al.
All right, Tyler and Elijah, great job down there on the field. And, right now, 2:29 on the clock. 6-0 your score. You know, we love getting our student reporters involved. And again, we mentioned Ben Carlin is one of our student reporters, and he's actually in uniform. He came over while he was warming up to take the photo with everyone else. And just, you know, a great idea of what we've been doing. And, you know, with St. Luke's and, you know, D11 and Dave Micah and everybody, you know, getting themselves in position to give these students an opportunity to show their stuff.
Correct. And I don't hate to feel like a broken record, but each week we find fantastic student reporters who are doing what they need to do. They're coming out, they're getting great answers. They're asking great questions of the coaches, and they're really doing a great job with finding information that, you know, is investigative. They're really trying to find the things that everybody wants to know and everybody's looking to get in terms of keys to the game and little tidbits, little inside information, you know, all of that.
Pitch to the near side. There's some space by Frowen, and Frowen will get all the way down inside the 40. And they're going to mark him right around the 38-yard line.
Notre Dame offense able to get to the edge. The outside guys do a great job blocking. They toss the ball to Frowen around the outside. He's able to get to the edge and outrun number 40 for Wilson, Dylan Goldsworth. Takes a bad angle, able to get around him and get a nice pickup on first down.
And Matt, the biggest thing that you see on that offense as we bring in the lineup in is Andrew Darno is obviously not the quarterback because Quintano is in a quarterback, and they're definitely a different team, and taken there by Christian Grego. So now, you know, Darno comes into the game. So, by the way, so Darno, 917 yards since coming in at quarterback, 346 yards on the ground, 330 yards receiving, and a total of 24 touchdowns altogether, and now you put him back in his, you know, normal position as a wide receiver. So he got the job done, and Coach Stambaugh is hoping that, you know, the changing quarterback and a little healthy, you know, is it enough for the game down 6-0 here?
And I think you hit the nail on the head there. Like having Quintano back, you put Darno back on the outside, he has a lot more space to work with. You know, when he's back at quarterback, you kind of have him limited. He's in a box. You can keep him in that box. You know, he doesn't have the ability to make a lot of plays in space. That's one place where Darno is very dangerous when he gets the ball out in space. But fortunate for Wilson right now, Notre Dame has not been able to locate and get Darno the ball at all.
Ball sits at the 20. Quintano checks, and now he's going to look to throw in the little flick, and that was incomplete as he got popped on the play.
That time the pressure from Wilson up the middle. They had an X stunt by the linebackers providing pressure up the middle, pushing Quintano out of the pocket. That's one thing Wilson can't do. They can't allow Quintano to sit in the pocket and just pick apart the secondary, because if he's given time, he's a smart quarterback with a good arm. He'll fit the ball in.
Yeah, and you see the secondary there in Fazio and Lutri, you know, Gillen and Sheridan. If he has time there, there's a big opportunity. They go with 4 receivers, 2 split either side, 3rd down and 2.
All right, we got that one. First down.
And it looked like the Warriors may have jumped. That'll move the chains. And the ball inside the 15-yard line.
As you said, putting the ball just inside the 15, Notre Dame still has the opportunity to pick up a first down without scoring a touchdown. So they have at least 4 to 8 downs to get into the end zone.
Ball sits at the 14. Quintano again with the long count. Now gives it over to Grego. And Grego gets taken down on the play immediately by Alex Snyder.
And that's the one thing you have to do with Wilson's defense. You have to be able to make tackles in space versus Notre Dame offense. If you allow Grego, Darno, Frowen, you allow them some space and get out there and they are able to break that first tackle, the Wilson defense is going to be in trouble.
Now they can get a first down inside the 5. Quintano going to throw and converts on the pass play and gets a few after he gets that to Izzy Rodriguez.
This is coming up here is going to be a big 3rd down call for Notre Dame offense.
Matt, I had a chance to go to the 100th meeting between Penn Argyl and Bangor. The place was a madhouse. It was fantastic. There were, 8,000 strong up there. They're around the bend getting ready and stuff. And, that game's a final 31-14. Penn Argyl beats the Bangor Slaters. Boy, That was great atmosphere to be up there, no question. 3rd down and 6 from the 12. We're inside a minute. Quintano looks. Check out Darno, maybe. And that ball gets hit as he throws, and it's just sitting up there for someone, and they can't get to it. I think the first guy that came in there with the pop was Chris Strahl.
It just went up in the air when he
And it looked like Quintano was trying to throw the ball, gets hit at the same time. The ball just floated, as you said. It was up in the air forever, but nobody in the middle of the field for either team. That very easily could have been an interception or a touchdown for Notre Dame.
Don't want to say it, but I think I could have ran down there and made that from here.
You're full of it. Listen, didn't you just turn 50 this week?
Yes, I did.
With you, 49 maybe. 49, I give you a chance. 50, no way.
28-yard field goal attempt, and that one is up and is no good.
The field goal attempt is no good.
Looked like he just pulled that a little bit to the left. Plenty of leg on it, too. So you know coming back, Notre Dame and Coach Stanball, they're going to be looking if they need to get points again. They have that ability. He has a strong leg on him. Just pulls it a little bit to the left.
So 6-0 your score. Take a look at the Warriors and first of all, the defense for Notre Dame. Again, in these games, and we saw that in the first drive, you're going to get tested. And obviously, that that they're going to come after you at the same time, because you mentioned Caden Stem. He can throw the ball downfield. So these D-backs are going to get tested as well.
And I think what you turn around and look at, if Wilson can keep the ball in the running game and not have to have Stem make too many plays, that favors them. Notre Dame has to make Wilson put the ball in Caden Stem, put the ball in the air, and then look to play that way.
On the ground, likely the last play of the quarter. Only touchdown of the game came by C.J. Fazio, an 8-yard touchdown run, 6-0 after 1 quarter of play. We'll be back with more action right after this. Your D11Sports.com Game of the Week, presented by St. Luke's Sports Medicine.
Concussions are serious. 3 million sport, recreation, and auto accident-related concussions happen each year. 20% of high school athletes who play contact sports will suffer a concussion during the season. St. Luke's is the region's leader in assessing, managing, and treating concussions in athletes and non-athletes of all ages. Our multi-specialty teams of experts collaborate to care for you using the latest treatment options. Don't play head games, take concussion seriously. Call St. Luke's to schedule an appointment with one of our concussion experts. Concussions are serious. 3 million sport, recreation, and auto accident-related concussions happen each year. 20% of high school athletes who play contact sports will suffer a concussion during the season. St. Luke's is the region's leader in assessing, managing, and treating concussions in athletes and non-athletes of all ages. Our multi-specialty teams of experts collaborate to care for you using the latest treatment options. Don't play head games, take concussion seriously. Call St. Luke's to schedule an appointment with one of our concussion experts.
We are back here at Notre Dame High School. Al DiColo, Matt Evancho. Here up top, down the field, we have our 2 student reporters, and Tyler Carlbon, a junior from Wilson. Elijah Rivera, a junior from Notre Dame. Ben Carlin, wearing number 27, the captain for the Crusaders as well. 3rd down and 5. The ball sits at the 25-yard line. Looking to throw and completes another pass into the hands of Zach Gillen.
Matt Wolfe.
And Carlin, one of the players in there on the tackle. Take a look at the Wilson offense. We mentioned Stem and Snyder, Vita and Gillen. Those guys are all going to get a lot of work today, and we've seen it so far as we're into the second quarter.
Absolutely, and I think that's going to be the key for Wilson's offense is can they spread that ball around to Snyder, to Fazio, to Gillen, to Goldsworth, to Vite.
Flag on the play, sideline warning.
Because that ambulance can't leave.
Just underway here in quarter number 2, 6-0 your score. Again, if you're just joining us here on D11Sports.com, our Game of the Week, as Coach Stamba is going to have a little chat. Notre Dame needs to win to get in, and if they win, they can actually get a 3 seed and not a 4 seed and jump Pine Grove.
Absolutely, and I think that's what Coach Stanball is looking for. I think going into that gets a little bit better of a matchup as that 3 seed, as the 4 seed. Looks like you have to go play North Schuylkill up north.
Huh? 28. 11:28.
I think their equipment's throwing our scoreboard up.
The ball at the 30-yard line. Okay, Warriors put again another drive. Matt, you said over 90 yards on the drive before as the ball was inside the 5-yard line when they started things off. Here's the flea flicker, looking to throw. And a lot of contact, both players, and nothing called. There's a flag. So flag comes in at the end of that play.
This is going to be an interesting call, Al. Interesting call on this one. Stem underthrows Goldsworth going down Gillen going down the sideline. This very easily could go against Wilson.
Yeah, it looked like there's a possibility.
Yeah,
it was against the Warriors.
The jersey that the referee saw clearly.
So the pass play goes for naught. And we'll come back inside the 20-yard line.
Thank you.
The penalty moves the ball back to the 15-yard line.
So the ball back to the 15-yard line.
What do you got? 25. Brings up first down and 125.
First down, by the way, is at the 40-yard line.
On the snap.
Stem looking to throw. And now puts it up, one-on-one coverage. There's some tugging, and there's the flag. It'll be incomplete, but that pass interference we got one way is going to go back the other way. This is going to be against the Crusaders.
And I think you saw the same thing happen. So what you have to say, though, you have to be appreciative of the officials being consistent. They had the offensive pass interference with the tug of the jersey on the Notre Dame defender, Matt Wolke, number 18. And then you come back here, the tug of the Wilson jersey. They get the 15 back. We're right back 2 plays later, still 1st and 10.
Nice job getting the 18 in there.
And what you love to hear out too, you love to hear the crowd who they don't applaud any call, whether it's right or wrong.
But they're always right, though.
They're always right.
They're always right.
They're always right.
You know? That's it.
All right, balls at the 30.
I wish I could remember the quote I saw on Twitter this week about, every Friday and Saturday night, everybody's an undefeated football coach from the stands.
No doubt.
Yeah.
And even if they're wrong in the play, they still say they were right.
Yes.
So it doesn't matter. The ball sits at the 30.
Now, I probably should follow it up. I'm not picking on the fans or the parents at all.
Is that how you're following that up?
That's how I'm following that up.
Okay. Just want to make sure.
Yeah.
Caden Stem at the gun.
Clock's good.
And he does give the handoff to Snyder.
Shotgun the attack.
Snyder gets wrapped up on the play.
Nice patient run by Snyder, too. Originally looked like there was nothing there. Looked like the defense had closed that down, but he allowed his blocker some time to open it up on that stretch play. A little outside zone to the tight end side.
I'm going from the 30 to the 34. How do you do the math?
Second down and 6 from the 34-yard line.
I have to think Wilson's going to throw a nice high percentage pass on this down.
They flick this one across to Fazio, and Fazio gets loose across midfield, still on his feet, and finally taken down right around the 45-yard line.
And my 100% accuracy just went into the toilet on that one, as it's a toss to Fazio. Nice call by the Wilson offense, catching, I think, Notre Dame expecting a pass, catching them off balance on that play. Fazio gets the edge on the toss, and then follows a nice block by Zach Gillen.
21-yard carry, in case you're interested.
We're not. Thank you.
All right.
The ball at the 45.
He's offside, Jim.
And here he
Come on,
goes.
Shaq.
Number 4 on the day. I should have taken over.
Yeah, definitely going to take the over. The over-under is 2.5.
Encroachment penalty on. I'll try my best. Pick up the flag. I got a vested interest in this game. Makes it.
So the ball at the 40-yard line.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Great crowd on hand. We expected here. We want to thank Amy Rogers and Phil Stanbaugh. We talked in the beginning of the year that we knew we wanted to get this game on, and I love the crowd that Wilson brought on the far side. Notre Dame always having a great crowd at the same time, and right now, again, we get back to that offensive line and give those guys credit. Matt, they're doing a great job, and you look at the Warriors and. They keep taking drives like this. They're going to put themselves in a great position to win this football game.
Absolutely, because you look in here, if they can get a couple more yards, they at least give themselves a chance to go up 2 scores. They give themselves a chance to get up by 2, and then force them to do a lot more. But I think you're going to see them continue to be a little patient on this.
First and 10.
Stoppage of play. Wilson, timeout.
Wilson calls timeout.
So the Warriors will call a timeout. And it comes with 9:14 on the clock and a 6-0 lead.
A jersey change. I saw number 53 jersey come out, and I know we had Nick Guerra as a possibility to be either number 36 or 53. So it'll be interesting to see if he's going to get that 53 jersey to get in there and give him another little bit more depth at the offensive line.
Well, you take a look at the keys for Wilson. Excel with those small details and win the line of scrimmage. It's something that they've been doing so far. They've definitely won the line of scrimmage.
Absolutely, and he was looking for that defensively to win the line of scrimmage, and I think they have. But excelling with the small details definitely have been doing that so far. When you talk about Notre Dame, though, they have not been able to establish that tempo on offense. That they've been struggling with a little bit, and then limiting the big plays and pressuring the quarterback. Wilson hasn't thrown the ball very much, and any pass has been a quick pass, so that negates any kind of pass rush you can get. And Wilson hasn't needed a big play. They've just been methodically working their way down the field.
Yeah, from the 34-yard line, that one is bouncing off defenders is Fazio, and Fazio then finally gets driven out onto the ground by Michael Irving.
Notre Dame defender had him in the backfield, had the back of his jersey, but Fazio shows a lot of strength running out of that tackle, picking up a nice gain. Again, Wilson's been in front of the sticks most of this game so far offensively.
2nd and 5, the ball's at the 28.
Inside 9 minutes. Again, the only other game going on two other games. Allen and Deerfield is going on, and also Liberty and Freedom. And if we get some scores, we'll pass them along.
Well, if I can, Al, I believe last I saw, Freedom was leading Liberty 14-13 at halftime. So that's a tight game.
And yeah, that's got a lot of ramifications in the 6A class.
You're looking at the same thing as this game here, Al.
Yeah.
Liberty's fighting for their life to get into that 6A classification. To be the 8 seed if they can pull out a win versus their rival. And they've beaten Freedom the last 2 years as the underdog as well.
And I've done many of those games, as have you, and sometimes the underdog's the team that ends up winning. So it's pretty crazy. We'll see what happens with that contest.
And nothing against Liberty. The record I don't think reflects the type of team they have.
Yeah, they have some a lot of potential.
Yes, they have a lot of potential, and they were in a lot of games late in the game, and it just happened where some mistakes took over and they just lost it a little bit.
So 3rd down and 3.
That was
This one's going to be short of the 1st down marker.
Colby's line from the carry.
I think this just might be out of Wilson's field goal range. I think we'll definitely see Wilson go for it here on 4th and short. This is a long yard, though, Al.
The offensive line, though, has done a good job. So let's start there. So now it's a big play.
4 false starts by Notre Dame. Do they try to get Notre Dame to jump?
And just pushing forward, doesn't have it initially, and there's a flag on the play.
False going to be false start against Wilson. Back was leaning forward before the ball was snapped.
Matt, being where the ball is anyway,
I think you still go.
You're still going for it, correct?
I absolutely think you still go for it. They've had a lot of success with the short to intermediate passing so far this game. Very little passing, but they've had success with that. we'll see them come back to that, give Stem a high percentage pass to Gillen or Goldsworth, and let him get the first down.
So 4th down and 6, the ball at the 30. They'll go trips near side for Stem. Stem waits, no pressure. Stem puts one up towards the end zone, touchdown. Hangs on to it for a 30-yard score right into the hands of Zach Gillen.
And we're going to get a dead ball foul, I believe, against Wilson on this one.
Blindside block. That's after.
Personal foul. Blindside. Dead ball personal foul. Blindside block. Dead ball personal foul.
So the touchdown is good. And then the penalties afterwards, offsetting penalties, Matt, talk about that play, and obviously he connected with Gillen pretty effectively.
Very different than what I expected them to see. They find Gillen streaking. They just run him on a seam route or slip route down the sideline. Stem just takes a nice, easy ball, throws it up, and allows Gillen to run underneath it. This is why Gillen is listed as their leading receiver. That's his 10th touchdown of the season.
So they'll go for the 2-point conversion after missing the extra point wide left the first time. Stem, a little quick toss, and it is enough on a 2-point conversion to Alex Snyder.
That's a version of the play. You see Snyder coming out of the backfield on the play out. That's a version of what a lot of the NFL teams are running, where they're using their receivers to come inside and pick the linebackers. But since the ball's thrown behind the line of scrimmage, they're allowed to make contact without having to be worried about called for a pick. That's what frees up Snyder around the ends for the touchdown.
Look at this. Look at him in the background on here.
So 14-0 your score. Touchdowns by C.J. Fazio on the 8-yard touchdown run. They came at the 2:37 mark and a 6-0 score. And then Nick Garrido missed on a field goal from 28 yards. Score was 6-0 after one quarter. Second quarter, a 30-yard touchdown from Caden Stem to Zach Gillen. 2-point conversion, Stem to Alex Snyder. And right now it's 14-0. When we talked to Coach Stambaugh before the game, he said if we score early and score last, or score first and score last, he thinks we'll be fine. They didn't score first, and right now this becomes a huge possession. Again, time of possession has been all Wilson. This is 7:03 on the clock.
Exactly, and it seems like there should be less time in the second quarter. When you look at it, Wilson has had 2 offensive series. Notre Dame has had 2. So very little has been done back and forth. Really slow and controlled first half both ways.
So the flags continue to pile up here.
They said you're doing a good job on the broadcast.
5 minutes in. Again, down the field is Tyler Carlbon, Wilson, and Elijah Rivera of Notre Dame. They'll come back together at halftime and give us their halftime thoughts. Part of our D11sports.com student reporters, 35 student reporters right now, over 16 different schools, as we continue to create our new platform and giving students opportunity to excel in a different area. And the kickoff here, and that goes right from a 32-yard line, and a good opportunity to return this football. And midfield on the return by Joe Galley. So great field position here for the Crusaders.
Not sure about the kickoff by Wilson on that one. Looked like they should have gone a little bit deeper, try to force them. They don't want to give Notre Dame field position. But I wanted to mention, too, Coach Stambaugh, Notre Dame offense, he said that Saucon Valley game they were plagued with a slow start and not being able to score offensively in the first half. They're struggling with that again today. And when we look to see what they can do coming back out, they still have plenty of time. You still have over 2.5 quarters left. This offense can score points, and they can score them quickly.
Quintano looking to throw and connects. That's a great pass inside the 40, down to about the 36-yard line, right to Andrew Darno. Again, Darno has been perfect this year with his touchdowns. 9 touchdowns via the run, 4 touchdowns as the receiver, and then when he's inserted at quarterback, 11 touchdowns there. So you put him back and you get that huge target, and I think we're going to see that ball coming his way once again. From the 36, Quintano with 5 receivers, middle part of the field wide open and incomplete as he was looking for Darno once again.
Yeah, as you said, that was the first time they were able to connect with Darno today. They need to get him involved in the game offensively for them to get some points on the board.
Brings up second down.
So 6:35 in the clock.
At least try. Try and dive for the ball.
Man, hard to believe playoffs start to, next week. And this is the final week not only of the regular season, but for the Colonial League as well before they have that connection with the Schuylkill League next year. Long time coming. Quintano waits, pumps, throws, receiver, and there's a flag. He comes down with a catch anyway on the reception into the hands of Derek Berlitz. So Berlitz makes the catch inside the 5-yard line.
And you see a pass very similar to what Caden Stem just threw, this time out of Colin Quintano. Puts a nice touch on the ball just down the middle, finding his receiver running to the post, able to run underneath it. The defender had nothing to do but try to drag him down. And that's one of those plays where, as a defender, you might as well just take him to the ground and not give him any chance to catch the ball. Take the 15-yard penalty. Don't give him the ball down here at the 3.
Frown in the backfield, and he will take it, push forward inside the 3, and touchdown. So Matt Frowen is in from 3 yards. Notre Dame and the Crusader fans are now jacked up. 3-yard touchdown.
And as we just stated, Notre Dame can come back. They can score quickly. They can get points very fast. It's just a matter now, can Wilson come back, match that, and continue to just methodically move down the field and continue to eat up clock.
Garrido in for the extra point. Snap is high, the kick is up, and the kick is right through the middle. And it's 14-7 Wilson.
We have to see how, if we go back, will at some point in time, I know we have a lot of game left, but at some point in time, will that missed field goal earlier come back and play a role in this game?
But starting to connect with his receivers a little bit more. And again, maybe practice this week. Obviously, he's been getting healthier, out in week 3 with the injury. They said latter part of the season, maybe come back. Well, there is no season after this if you don't come back. And, he got a chance, the opportunity good, and he looks pretty good out there.
He does. What he brings, and he did it all those first 3 weeks, too. You don't see him get rattled. I have to go back and put out there that I believe that has a lot to do with the fact his baseball career. He's a third baseman for the baseball team, for the Notre Dame baseball team that took that run to the state finals last year as a freshman playing third base, the hot spot as they call it. You look at that, you can see how that plays a part in his cool collective composure in the backfield for Notre Dame.
And no doubt that was a great run that they had. Actually followed that team pretty far with D11 Sports, and in a small school, these athletes all stick together and come together. So Garrido kicked things off, and that's picked up and started at the 9-yard line. Trying to get to the outside is Fazio, and Fazio tries to make the turn the other way, but all blue jerseys nowhere to go. And, that touchdown just got the fans in it as well, and, the student section in a big game. Again, if you're just joining us here on D11sports.com, our game of the week presented by St. Luke's Sports Medicine, Al DiCarlo alongside Matt Evancho. Matt, you're part of that Wilson group, that went to the state championship, won the state championship. It's interesting when you look on the sideline now and you look at Chris Laboch. Laboch was the player on that team, and now Brett Comp is his assistant, who was the head coach there. It's pretty interesting. How does that work anyway?
That was a great addition by Chris Laboch, getting and talking with Brett Comp, getting him back into the coaching on Wilson's sideline. He's still in the building as a teacher down at Wilson, and getting him back on the sideline is going to be beneficial for the development of Caden Stem, as well as Chris now has somebody with head coaching experience with a vast amount of knowledge to lean on to help him as he matures and grows as a head coach.
I've said this story before. When I was back in college, some guy named Brett Comp lit Kutztown up for I don't remember how many touchdowns, but he lit him up, and I'm like, this guy is unbelievable. They didn't realize that he was older and stuff like that, and did a great job, and I'm like, that's why I said to him. But, he, a great coach, and, winning a state championship, doing what they did, and, now having the, player as the head coach and the former coach as his assistant, that's pretty cool. And Chris has got to say, Coach, I'm the coach, and you just hang out and listen.
I think what you see there, too, is a lot of mutual respect between the two. It's very easy for Chris to come in and kind of be a little intimidated by having his former coach on the sideline with him. But he knows he's the one in control, and Coach Comp is a very smart person. He knows, all right, Chris is in control. I'm here to support him. I'm here to back him and do whatever I can for the program.
Yeah, and I agree with that. Brett Comp's just been tremendous, with us over the years. Everything he has done, and even the career as a coach that he's had, has the knowledge of the game, and just develops quarterbacks in a good place.
Absolutely, and I think you talked about what he was able to do as an older player at East Stroudsburg. I'll just say older at East Stroudsburg, and actually had quite a few records there before somebody else came in and broke a lot of his records. I don't know if we can use that as a trivia question to figure out who that person was.
Yeah. Well, he broke a lot of records, did he not?
I believe he did.
5:44 on the clock. 14-7 is your score. They did move the chains by half the length of the football.
This is the start of another one of those drives by Wilson. Again, the key is going to be for them to finish these drives. They can't come up short in this game.
The ball from the 36. On the ground they go, nowhere to go. Not fooled on this play. Great job defensively, and Notre Dame not fooled. They came through. Jake Hull was one of the guys in there, number 17 for the Crusaders.
A lot of penetration by the defensive line is what won that down for Notre Dame, putting Wilson as second and long. Not a good situation for them, but Shaq Harris, defensive tackle, coming through and getting the stop of Snyder in the backfield.
Inside 5 to play, second down and 15, the ball at the 26-yard line. Stem, he getting pressure, just a little float, a little pass, and trying to spin out and nowhere to go was Fazio. Carlo in there and a couple other players, including, and you keep mentioning, Shaq Harris.
And I think the one that should get the credit for that stop is 24, Joe Galley. He's the one, he eludes a blocker of a lineman, and then Fazio not able to get out of his ankle tackle. He holds on, as you said, for the rest of those guys to come in and finish that play off. Otherwise, that was going to be a big gain for Wilson.
Third down and 12, the ball to 29. They go 3 receivers far side, 1 to the near side. Stem, here comes a rush. Stem's got to avoid it and looking to throw, but nowhere to go as he got flushed out of the pocket. Now will throw. As he does, he gets hit on the play. And a great job, I believe it was Carlo that comes up with it.
And that one all started with the pressure from the linebackers coming up and not giving Stem any kind of time to feel comfortable back there. But that drive started to go backhill and downhill on the first play when the Notre Dame defensive line had the pressure, had to stop behind the line of scrimmage, and forced Wilson to kind of fight uphill the entire drive, entire sequence there.
Back deep is Darno and Grego.
So the Crusaders will get the football back with plenty of time and 3 timeouts left, inside 4 to play. High snap. And this one is going to be lifted. And not a chance to return that one for Grego. They get the ball inside the 25-yard line, down to about the 24. If you're Coach Stan, by the way the game started, again, you start off fresh, you made your way down the field, and you had a couple turnovers, a couple penalties. Those penalties at the same time, though, even though you didn't score first, you found yourself down 14-0, and now you look like you're back in sync. Just saw Phil Stambaugh walk up to his team and kind of like, let's go. I think they're just starting to get into some rhythm. Bottom line is they haven't had the football long.
Correct.
But they don't need it long because they have a pretty high-powered offense.
And if you go back to that, you mentioned it earlier on the last drive, is it a fact of Quintano coming back for his first game? Is it him getting in rhythm with his receivers? Is it the receivers in the offense getting in rhythm with him? Or is it just a matter they were starting out slow? What can they do from here? This is going to be a key drive both ways.
And Frowen comes across the 30, gets up to about the 34-yard line.
Snyder on the stop.
As you feel that momentum start to shift a little bit, this rivalry game, just like every rivalry game, plays a lot into the emotion and the momentum. Who can get in better, or who can balance that out a little bit better is going to be the one who comes out on top.
So pick up about 8.5. Quintana looking to throw one-on-one coverage near side, incomplete. Looking downfield for Joe Galley. Those passes have not been converted for the most part, but those passes are just about there.
They are, and I think you continue to have to throw them, especially that's a great call on 2nd and short, because now you're still sitting at 3rd and short. You still have a great opportunity to convert this, but you have to continue to take chances and take shots deep down the field, but then you have to balance that with some controlled high percentage passes short for Quintano to complete.
So 3rd down and 1. And that was really close. Notre Dame says they have the first down. They're going to mark this one,
looks like
I believe, a little short.
The 35. I think they're going to be maybe 6 inches short of this.
That is a horrible.
This is a big call here.
This is. And I think we're going to see Notre Dame go for it.
Yep. Never a doubt for Coach Stambaugh. So how about this play here? 4th down.
And if you're Wilson, you have to make sure you don't jump off sides. You can't let them get this free.
And Coach Stambaugh is going to call a timeout and talk things over. And you mentioned, you try to draw them offside, number 1. And not going to say it, you're the coach, I'm not. But do you fake it and then just put it up and have a receiver wide open because everybody's looking for that run?
And that's always something you can do, especially when you're getting behind defenders a lot tonight. So here's the other thing too, maybe they don't catch it, pull a pass interference. You get a pass interference, you have your first down, you have 15 yards. So, but looks like we're getting a switch here and the punt team's coming on the field for Notre Dame. But, as we said before, who's the punter? Christian Grego. So I wonder if he has the green light on this rugby kick. If he sees an opening, he's going to run for that first down.
So 3 minutes on the clock. Biggest play of the game is right here to this point. On the 4th down and about, it's not a yard, but almost, a little more than half a yard to go through.
So you have Grego back deep getting the punt, but then you also have Frowen as the up back, another dangerous. I'd like to see him snap to Frowen and let him run an option.
Well, he's going to look for it. He's going to go for it.
Oh, he dropped the ball.
Loses the football, but did he get enough for the first down? Looks like he did.
Yes, the ball went out, gets him the first down.
Oh, you mentioned you had that rugby style, and you start looking, and all of a sudden you take off.
And Wilson had defenders in the place. They had defenders in position to make a play, but that was just a matter of Grego making the play for Notre Dame.
And Matt, was it ever a punt there, or was it was straight, hey, find an opening and go, or last minute is he going to?
I think it was for Notre Dame. I think that's find a lane and go. Find a lane and just run.
It just started on its own.
So the ball to 34. Drive continues here for the Crusaders. Quintano rolls to the far side, looks for a receiver, and that one knocked away. Great defense by Tyler Sheridan of the Warriors, who poked his hand in at the last second.
He did. He came up from his safety cornerback spot, comes up, gets his hand in, as you said, at the last second. One thing that the Wilson defenders did on that play that was much better than they have in the previous one, they kept the Notre Dame defenders in front of them. They need to continue to stay focused and stay disciplined by keeping those Notre Dame receivers in front of them, not letting them get any kind of space behind them.
From the 36, one-on-one coverage far side, and that one incomplete as that pops out of the hands of Grego. He's going to make that catch 9 out of 10 times. That was defended well.
And Wilson defense had a lot of pressure on Quintano. They're able to get to him and get him down. He's coming up slow. You hope he's okay. Coming off that injury, they need some more protection out front to allow him time, because when he has time, he's finding his receivers and getting them nice balls to catch.
The home band's on the field.
From the 36. He's going to get hit as he throws, and he gets hit hard. Snyder.
And you start to wonder, those hits, are they going to play a toll? As we said, this is his first game back since week 3. So how will this take a toll on this Notre Dame offense? As we said, that was a big drive in this game for the Notre Dame offense as well as for the Wilson defense. Wilson defense able to get a stop.
Yeah, great job by the Wilson defense, and this one does not get booted the way Garrido wants it to get done. So really a short field. You're going to start things off at the 44-yard line with 2:17 and 2 timeouts if you're Wilson.
And just like that, the momentum starts to shift the other way. The beauty of high school football and how momentum can go one way or the other in a matter of seconds.
Had a chance to talk to Jason Zimmerman, the head of district football, and this morning gave me a call before I drove up to the Bangor Penn Argyle game, and kind of gave us those scenarios. And interesting with the scenarios that are out there. Obviously, this one is the most crucial one for them, knowing that Notre Dame wins, they actually should get a 3 seed and jump Pine Grove, who has the 4 seed. If they lose, though, they will be eliminated from the playoffs altogether. And a nice solid run there by Alex Snyder.
And if Wilson can continue to do this offensively, when they've had success, they've gotten out in front of the sticks and had a good first down, putting them in a second and short. They've struggled, and the Notre Dame defense has just salivated on the times when they've gotten them behind sticks and they were able to just pin their ears back and come after stem. But this time the running game gets them going and gives them some space to now play around a little bit and eat up that clock, as you said.
Allen leading Deer off 8-0 at the half. Looking to throw is Stem. Nothing there. Now throws off the back foot. And this one hangs up there for a while. And that one is complete.
It got taken away.
And knocked down at about the 1-yard line. So they bobbled it first and then make the catch. Wow. Coming down with that some way, somehow was Dylan Goldsworth as it got knocked around a couple times.
It did. That ball was up there just like the one before from Notre Dame. That was up there forever. Goldsworth bobbled it at first, but then comes down with it. But here, Wilson has to make sure they control the ball. They don't make any kind of mistake. They don't give up. They need to get this score.
And they're going to take their time here because they don't want to give Notre Dame any kind of time, as well.
Absolutely. I think they can take as much time as they want. If they don't get in this first down, I think they have 3 plays to get in and then kick a field goal.
So as we approach the 1-minute mark, they will attack via the ground, and going in for the 1-yard score is Alex Snyder.
And we have a Notre Dame defender down, getting up a little slow. I hope he's all right. Number 27, Ben Carlin. He's the one who comes in and hits Snyder in the backfield, but not enough to bring him down.
So Carlin makes his way to the sidelines. So after that big pass play that somehow goes to Goldsworth, another flag, however, with 1:01 on the clock.
Encroachment against Notre Dame. So it looks like Wilson's going to put the offense back on the field and go for 2.
Now we're going to go for 2.
like to see what would be nice here. It allows Stem a little play action off of the running fake because they've been having a lot of success with the run. Let him have a play action, come out, roll out to the right, find somebody leak into the back corner of the end zone.
Well, it's interesting with Stem. You know, he's got 7 touchdowns, and they're all from like this distance anyway. I mean, it's obviously for a 2-point conversion. He's got 68 carries for 71 yards, but he's got those 7 touchdowns. So if you're looking for 2. And is Snyder. And Snyder goes in. So 2-point conversion by Snyder after the 1-yard touchdown run.
It didn't look like he was going to get it at first. He kind of hesitated. That's one thing I said earlier. Snyder does a nice job hesitating, letting his blockers get to where they need to be. But when you're down that close to the goal line, you as a running back just need to bury your head, get behind your blockers, and just push your way for that 1.5 yards into the end zone. So we mentioned before, Al, about the missed field goal for Notre Dame. Now a 2-point conversion for Wilson kind of just gives them a few more points. You know, kind of just extending that lead little by little. Not anything extravagant, but just little by little.
Got our student reporters out and about, and Peter Caboti is out at Allen and Deerhoff. It's 14-0 now. Allen leads the Deerhoff Huskies. Peter all over that game.
Peter's a great kid, too. Loved talking with him before that game. Allen in Stroudsburg a couple of weeks ago, and just hearing he's taking 5-6 AP classes.
That's amazing. I was going to take 5 AP classes, but I was not allowed because my grade said no.
I don't know if you could spell 5 AP 5 times.
Garrido bobbles that one. Oh, excuse me. Grego bobbles that one and picks it up and gets up towards the 26-yard line. So 57 seconds left, 3 timeouts. And, you know, Coach Stambaugh, again, it's a quick offense. There is a lot of time. I mean, you want to take some momentum in the locker room. This would be a big drive for them.
Absolutely. When you look at it, we have 2 styles of offenses that are completely different. Wilson looking to control the ball, control the clock, using that running game. Notre Dame more of a quick strike offense. So as you said, at 22-7, while you look at that, think, okay, well, that's 2 scores. Notre Dame can get right back in this with a matter of 1 play.
Freedom leading Liberty 17-13 in the third. Change of quarterback. And rolls to the near side, and he was looking in the direction of Darno.
And we have a backup quarterback in the game, Connor Aquino, number 19, a freshman, 5'9", 140. So it looks like Quintano might be out for a little bit of time. And see if this changes Wilson's game plan. See if they try to pressure the freshman quarterback a little bit more and bring those linebackers and play some more man-to-man coverage as opposed to zone in the back end.
Well, Aquino 29 of 42, 309 and 5 touchdowns, has 1 INT. Again, 5 receivers. Aquino bobbles it. Now he's going to have to flush to see if he can throw this one. Just airs one up and incomplete. Was looking for Frowen.
And I think it was just a matter of Aquino taking his eyes off the ball. It wasn't the best snap, but I think it was one he definitely could have handled. A little low, but I think he could have handled it a little bit, kind of took his eyes off and looked downfield too soon before securing the snap.
So I'll bring up a 3rd down and 10 with 47 seconds on the clock.
This is a down where you can bring some pressure if you're Wilson, or just sit back and keep everybody in front of you.
Oh, that's pressure, and he gets absolutely popped. He completes the pass, but boy, he absolutely got drilled.
And this is going to bring up a 4th down. Wilson taking a timeout on the far side. See if Notre Dame forces that punt on 4th and short, or do they give Grego the green light again?
Matt, he took a vicious hit there, and you know that I know he's feeling it as he's walking towards the sideline.
And I think it was Fazio who got the hit on him coming from a secondary blitz. But yeah, Garrido's not going in the punt this time. It is Grego. Like to see if he gets the green light and allows him to come out again. But Notre Dame's going to need a few more players on the field. They only have 9 right now. Now that's 10. They will want to play with 11. You don't have to. Don't have to, Al. Sometimes you can get away with playing with 12.
But yeah, you don't want to do that. But
No, if you can get away with it, that's fantastic. I pulled it off once, one time.
Out of how many though?
Oh, not my odds and my percentage is not very good at all.
So this time we'll get the Crusaders that call timeout, and Coach Stambaugh not happy about the personnel, and you were talking about that, and trying to put them in position there, as he was looking at Derek Berlitz too. Again, Berlitz will line up outside. It's 37 seconds, 22-7 right now, and again, with 2 timeouts left, or with 1 timeout left for Wilson, they get the ball back. They still, depending on where it is, can do something here.
And as they're setting up the punt, they were missing their up back in Frauen the whole time. And I know as a head coach, and Coach Stambaugh is frustrated on that, you don't want to burn timeout. Just getting personnel on the field, that's something you practice nonstop. Getting the personnel out there, knowing who's on what, who's backing who up, that's something the kids need to know, and the special teams coordinator needs to have set up so that they don't waste time out that way.
Here's Grego. And Grego's thinking about it, and, well, this would be a huge, huge opportunity here for the Warriors with 35 seconds left and a timeout.
Absolutely. I think that was not something that Notre Dame wanted to happen.
So Grego was coming towards the near side. Looked like he wanted to cut off field, just slip, and never got a chance to do that.
And you ran it the one time. You got it the one time. Wilson had it well defended now.
So the ball at the 31. Coach Labat's got to be excited about this opportunity here, one way or the other, to come away with points. It would be huge here for the Warriors to extend that lead. Looking to throw. And they'll gain positive yards. They'll have to take a timeout here. And finally, Chris Labatch calls it. Wasted maybe 3 seconds or so.
I think if Stem didn't run the ball, I think you can set up and run another play. But the fact that he was out of position, he ran the ball, you couldn't get – because when you run that hurry up, your quarterback's the one calling out the signals. And if he's under the pile in Notre Dame, nothing wrong with it. You're holding him down longer. You're not letting him get up quickly. Hey, you're helping eat clock. You're taking time off the clock. But Wilson does have a very talented field goal kicker in Lorenzo Sigue. So if they can get into, I would say, probably inside about the 22, I think that gives them a chance at least attempting, inside of a 40-yard field goal.
Mm-hmm. So 24 seconds on the clock, 22-7 is your score. If you're just joining us here on D11Sports.com, Game of the Week presented by St. Luke's Sports Medicine. Al Carlo alongside Matt Evancho. CJ Fazio with an 8-yard touchdown run made it 6-0 in the first quarter with 2:37 on the clock. Second quarter, 30-yard touchdown from Stem to Gillen, added a 2-point conversion. Stem to Snyder to make it 14-0. Then a 3-yard touchdown run by Frauen to make it 14-7. And then Alex Snyder with a 1-yard touchdown run plus a 2-point conversion. Here back at it on the offensive side of things. The Stem gets popped as he throws. The clock will stop with 19.2. Has never had a chance to deliver that ball. Good job defensively by Jack Hall.
Yeah, Jake Hull came from his linebacker. He's providing pressure. He's been in the mix all day long from his linebacker spot. He's making plays all over the field, and he's one of those guys for Notre Dame that's just going to battle in there. He's not going to give up. He's going to continue to fight. He's been a leader for that Notre Dame defense all season long.
So, Matt, you don't have any timeout. Oh, well, there is a timeout left now, so I thought they didn't have any timeouts left.
So they have one more timeout. I think it's okay. I think they run the ball here. Go ahead and give Fazio the ball. Let him try to get outside, get upfield, at least close this down a little bit, and then line up for a field goal.
3rd down and 6.
And that's not what you wanted to happen.
Full start.
Gillen jumps on the outside.
Yeah, the last thing that you want to happen, because you said you want to be right around that 22-yard line to attempt about a 39, 40-yard field goal attempt. Now the ball's sitting there at the 31.
Wouldn't be surprised if we see Wilson step back, give Stem an easy, high percentage pass right over the middle. We have these teams' defenses running too high, 2 safeties back, and they're opening up that middle of the field. See if they try to attack that area.
Stem looking to throw, gets hit as he throws, but he converts the first down.
And
that stops the clock. They'll have time here with 11.7 seconds to set up once again and not lose that timeout if they choose not to.
Absolutely, and you said that perfectly. They save that timeout with that first down completion. And that's huge now because of two things. You have another shot you can take to the end zone. You still can run the ball because you have that timeout now in your back pocket.
But with only 8 seconds running the ball is going to be pretty tight, depending on how much you go here.
So I'd like to see, I think we'll see them try to take a shot to the end zone. But here's where Stem has to be smart. He can't get greedy.
It's got to be quick. So Stem looking to throw and comes near side, has a receiver, and he connects and gets close to they'll call a timeout with 1.2 seconds.
First down stops the clock. I think here's where you want to use that timeout.
See, I don't know if they have one. So the scoreboard said there was a timeout left, but there was no timeout left, and they never get the playoff. And that obviously has to be, and I thought they were out of timeouts, and I wasn't sure, but boy, you had a chance and that close. Again, you go into the locker room now, momentum really on the eyes of, the Crusaders, thinking, all right, we just stopped that play. And Coach Labatt's going to talk things over a little bit, too, with the officials. So 22-7 is your score. We're at the half. More action coming your way here from Notre Dame High School right after this when we come back.
Concussions are serious. 3 million sport, recreation, and auto accident-related concussions happen each year. 20% of high school athletes who play contact sports will suffer a concussion during the season. St. Luke's is the region's leader in assessing, managing, and treating concussions in athletes and non-athletes of all ages. Our multi-specialty teams of experts collaborate to care for you using the latest treatment options. Don't play head games, take concussion seriously. Call St. Luke's to schedule an appointment with one of our concussion experts.
Is it your back or your knee? That old football injury? Get the rehabilitation you need. In most cases, you won't need a script from your doctor. In Pennsylvania and New Jersey, a law called Direct Access lets you see a physical therapist without a prescription. And if your insurance requires a prescription, physical therapy at St. Luke's will work with your doctor to get you the care you need that is covered. Let us speed up your recovery. We're in your neighborhood. Call Physical Therapy at St. Luke's. So you're hurting, is it?
St. Luke's Orthopedic Care. Extraordinary care in motion.
That will help you meet or exceed your fitness goals. With locations throughout the region and nationally recognized fitness experts, you'll become a member of a supportive fitness community. We call it Extraordinary Fitness. Visit us online to start your free 7-day membership and let us help you thrive. Are you searching for a place where you belong?
Hall of Fame pitcher Steve Carlton knows what it takes to exceed expectations. He knows what it means to be part of a team that rises above the competition. He knows a champion. Steve Carlton knows St. Luke's Orthopedic Care. Hall of Fame pitcher Steve Carlton knows what it takes to exceed expectations. He knows what it means to be part of a team that rises above the competition. He knows a champion. Steve Carlton knows St. Luke's Orthopedic Care.
Back or your knee? That old football injury? Get the rehabilitation you need. In most cases, you won't need a script from your doctor. In Pennsylvania and New Jersey, a law called Direct Access lets you see a physical therapist without a prescription. And if your insurance requires a prescription, Physical Therapy at St. Luke's will work with your doctor to get you the care you need that is covered. Let us speed up your recovery. We're in your neighborhood. Call Physical Therapy.
Yeah, can you give me like 2 slices?
At St. Luke's. So you're hurting. Is it your back or your knee? That old football injury? Get the rehabilitation you need. In most cases, you won't need a script from your doctor. In Pennsylvania and New Jersey, a law called direct access lets you see a physical therapist without a prescription. And if your insurance requires a prescription, physical therapy at St. Luke's will work with your doctor to get you the care you need that is covered. Let us speed up your recovery. We're in your neighborhood. Call Physical Therapy at St. Luke's. So you're hurting. Is it your back or your knee? That old football injury? Get the rehabilitation you need. In most cases, you won't need a script from your doctor. In Pennsylvania and New Jersey, a law called direct access lets you see a physical therapist without a prescription. And if your insurance requires a prescription, Physical Therapy at St. Luke's will work with your doctor to get you the care you need that is covered. Let us speed up your recovery. We're in your neighborhood. Call Physical Therapy at St. Luke's.
St. Luke's Orthopedic Care. Extraordinary care in motion.
Hi, I'm Carlo, and I'm back here with Elijah Rivera. And Elijah, what was your opinion on the first half for this game?
Notre Dame didn't stick to their game plan. They started off pretty slow like last week, and Wilson just dominated their defense there. Caden Stem, he's doing great, and Notre Dame doesn't have an answer for them.
And for the Wilson side, I feel like they're sticking to it. As we talked to Coach Laboch before the game, he said that the first thing you want to do is eliminate their rushing, and that's what they're doing. The defense is eliminating it. And also, what happened towards the end there, quarterback went out, right?
Yeah, Quintano, he got injured. The offensive line is not protecting him at all. They have six men, and Wilson is just coming out with some heat.
And so, what do you think Notre Dame could do here for in the second half to get back into this? I mean, it's only a 2-score ball game, but the way it's looking, it looks like Warriors, because with the Warriors getting the ball back at halftime. So, what do you think ND could do?
They have to step it up on defense. They have to step it up on defense, and they have to step it up on offense. They just have to step it up in general.
Yeah, I think Wilson, to keep the score a large amount, they need to keep relying on Alex Snyder and CJ Fazio, because they're doing great on the run. And then also with Caden Stem finding Zach Gillen for the touchdown here. But also, what do you think ND should fix or anything, or do,
Yeah. Notre Dame, like I said, they just need to step it up.
I think they should start attacking the Wilson secondary, because they're Wilson secondary is not looking too good, especially with Grego. Do you think they should start attacking?
Yeah, they should. It doesn't look like they're playing Notre Dame football. They don't look too confident. That's what they need to do. They need to start playing confident.
So let's see if we have a good ball game here for the rest of the game here, and we'll send it back up to you guys.
All right, guys, thanks a lot. Great job down there. Doing a great job. That's Tyler Carlo, Wilson Jr., and Elijah Rivera, a Notre Dame junior. And again, two different schools, and we're getting them together. These teams are battling. We talk about a rivalry, and two of our student reporters are going back and talking to each other.
And coming up with a great interview. Tyler's asking some real good questions. Elijah with some great answers. They're both into this game, and they're both evaluating both teams and coming up with some great ideas and some great things that I think both teams need to look for and need to work on for the second half.
Yeah, no doubt about that. And Matt, your thoughts of the first half. Obviously, right now Wilson has to be pleased of what they've done to this point, but at the same time, it's really close. 22-7. It can change on a dime.
It is, and we go back to Tyler and Elijah. They pointed it out. Wilson has that 22-7 lead. That is by no means the end of it. They had the opportunity there at the end of the first half to possibly extend on that lead. They weren't able to do that because they ran out of time. Now, Wilson does get the ball back, but when you go back to the keys of the game, Wilson wanted to excel with small details. I think they've kind of been up and down with that. They've had some penalties, they've had some issues, made some mistakes, but I think their mistakes have been smaller than the Notre Dame mistakes at this point in time in the game. They've won that line of scrimmage. They've been winning that battle. The times they did not succeed were the times where Notre Dame won the battle at the line of scrimmage. So that's something else we have to look for in the second half. I think Notre Dame and Coach Stanball and his coaching staff in the locker room at halftime was talking to his offense, and they were talking about how can we establish some tempo. I think they've been, Elijah said it, they've been kind of out of rhythm. It hasn't seemed like they've been playing Notre Dame football in that first half. It seems like they've been off balance the entire game. They just need to get back and just play their game and play their style of football. And the big plays, I haven't seen many big plays. We've seen a few, but not too many. So I think Notre Dame is doing a good job of keeping everybody in front of them. It's going to come down to these next 24 minutes.
Yeah, we'll see what happens here. And obviously, the first possession of the contest and, where things go from there should be interesting. But obviously, setting the tone early is big.
It is. And, Coach Stanball said it in the beginning of the game. Who comes out and scores first? I think, he may have been alluding to the second half. I think that's where the important part's going to be. Which team comes out here and which team's able to get a score on the board first? If it's Wilson, they obviously extend their lead, but then they kind of take they're more of a driver's seat for this game. If Notre Dame defensively can get a stop, maybe create a turnover early in this series, and then get a quick score, not only do they gain momentum, not only do they gather some more confidence, but I think that bodes well for them if they can score early in this half and then score last in the half. I think that can help propel them to a victory.
So we get ready for the second half to get underway. Garrido will kick off. And Wilson, who has dominated the time of possession, will get the football.
Clock's good.
And we are underway here in the second half. And then again, how does Notre Dame stop these long drives? I mean, we talked about the line of scrimmage, and that's what it's been. But can they do anything differently defensively?
What they have to do is they had to go in the locker room. They had to talk about how can we establish a run defense? How can we limit their running the ball? Because that's what's allowed Wilson to get ahead of the sticks. Anytime Notre Dame has been able to get them behind the sticks, they've been very successful defensively, but it's been that running game of Wilson. If they can come up with a way to pressure them and get short yardage and stop that running game, that's going to be a key for them.
And that running game has done a great job to this point. Okay, glad you could join us here at D11Sports.com Game of the Week, presented by St. Luke's Sports Medicine. Al DeCarlo alongside Matt Evancho. Have our student reporters on the sideline. And doing a great job to this point. Again, looking for more students from different schools to get involved, and whether you're on the sidelines here or going out and about and covering your peers at high school events, that's what we're all about at D11Sports.com at St. Luke's. Being a great job helping us out with there. The quick toss pass to Zach Gillen, and Gillen will move the chains, get the first down, across the 40, up towards the 46-yard line.
And you get a good look there exactly what Wilson was able to do in the passing game in the first half, just giving Stem high percentage short passes, get it to Gillen, get it to Goldsworth, get it to his receivers out there in space, and let them make the plays.
46-yard line. First and 10.
We talk about rivalries and things that are going on. Liberty now leading 19-17 against Freedom. And that game in the third quarter, the ball at the 46. And they keep attacking on the ground, and this time a lot of tight blue jerseys in there. And, we've been calling his name a lot tonight, and that's, Shaq Harris, one of the guys that was in there on the stop.
Yes, and again, I mentioned him earlier in the first half. Jake Hull, number 17 from his linebacker spot, he's coming through. Wilson has been running that outside zone play to the tight end out of the trip set where they have three receivers to the far side. They run the outside zone to the tight end to the near side. Like to see them. They're going to come back off of that, I think, and pull a play action as they continue to just try to lull this Notre Dame defense to sleep.
So second down and 10, the ball at the 46. Looking to throw is Stem, and Stem will get taken down by guess who? Shaq Harris again. Harris has been there all day long.
And you have to like the fact of how Stem stays in the pocket, but at some point, the pressure from Harris, as you said, and that Notre Dame front, they just pushed and pushed and pushed, and they bring in there, they get them, and they bring them down for the sack.
Duke Helm popped in, gave us some halftime numbers. How about Wilson with 15 first downs? You don't usually see that in a game. 125 yards rushing, 140 passing for a total of 265. Snyder, 14 carries for 55 yards. Fazio, 7 carries for 55. Here, 3rd and 16 from the 38. Gets time to throw, and this one is incomplete. Was looking down in the direction of Isaiah Casado. But there's a flag all the way back near the line of scrimmage.
I think this might be roughing the passer. That's going to be a big penalty against Notre Dame. You just had a great defensive series, a great defensive stand, and you let that get away from you. So this is going to bring up a 3rd and short for this, giving Wilson an opportunity to convert the first down now.
Stem 10 of 12, $140 in the first half. Gillian with 7 catches for 73 yards.
You're terrible!
And obviously, from where our vantage point is, the Notre Dame fans are not particularly happy with that call. Can't blame them.
First down!
That's not an automatic first down.
So 9:14 on the clock.
Oh, my, you got to be kidding me.
22-7 your score, and on the ground they go. And trying to bust to the outside is Fazio. And if he can make the turn, he has some space, and Fazio gets across the 40.
You got to be kidding me.
And they'll mark him down to the 38-yard line.
And that's Fazio just making something out of nothing. He makes the cutback, but nothing originally where he was headed. Makes the cutback, gets to the edge, and picks up a nice gain on first down.
Notre Dame with 7 first downs, 40 yards rushing, 109 yards passing for $149 total. Get some of their numbers as well individually. Inside 9 minutes, 2nd down and a long 2 for the Warriors. And another flag. Frowen, 4 carries for 37 yards.
And this is getting worse now. And there goes 2.
So obviously concerned here. So 22-7, this one against the Crusaders once again.
But that shouldn't have been a first down.
Quintano, 7 of 17 for 100 yards. I mentioned Aquino came in. Aquino 1 of 3 for 9 yards. And receiving-wise, Berlitz, doing a good job, but he's got 4 catches for 81 yards as Berlitz, and Grego has 2 catches for 9. Still trying to get some other players involved in that offense as Coach Stanbaugh is talking to the officiating crew. And Matt, take us, what's going on here?
We have to see what's going on. We had the first penalty that came in, and honestly, I don't even recall what that first penalty flag was for. Then you had the false start. I'm sorry. You had the false start, and then it looked like as a player from Notre Dame was walking back, he must have said something that the official did not like. That threw the first one, and then I think the second one, if the second one is against the same player, that would mean he would be ejected. And not only is he ejected this game, he would be ejected from the next game.
Wait on the signal. Glad you could join us here at D11Sports.com Game of the Week, presented by St. Luke Sports Medicine. We are in the 3rd quarter. Again, the situation here is Wilson already in the 4A classification. They will have the 7th seed coming in.
All right, well, it wasn't on him because he's got his helmet on still.
And Notre Dame needs to win to get in. And if they get in, they'll get in as a 3 seed, not a 4 seed.
That would have gotten tossed.
All right, let's keep it low. Let's let it go.
So you had the false start, then you had the 2 personal fouls. So it looks like the personal fouls were against different players from Notre Dame, since no one has been sent off the field as of right now. that proves costly for Notre Dame at this point in time.
Hey, but Matt, you go back in this drive, 3rd down and 16, and then there was a penalty against Notre Dame, and you're ready to get the ball back. You mentioned it before. You're ready to get the ball back, and now all of a sudden you're looking at Wilson, and the ball is all the way moved up to, the 16-yard line.
And I think you're going to see nothing but the running game. I think Wilson, they have a great position here. The clock's running. All they're going to do is just continue to run the ball.
They keep tacking on those penalties, and the fans are looking over, and they're like, wait, what is going on here? Moving forward as 22-7, and a good job for the Warriors here. And Chris Labatch has to be pleased here looking at where his team is in this situation.
Correct, and I think you look more pleased as you're disciplined. But just to go through what happened here, so you had the 5-yard false start marked off. Because you're outside of the red zone, you had the 15-yard personal foul walked off. Then you have, after that, since they're inside the zone, you have half the distance to the goal for the second one.
Yep, so Matt had it all on there, and with that on the ground, and not much on the game. They say they have the football, do they? That's the question. They say no, as coming out of that pile was, I think it was Andy Mattis.
Yeah, it looked like it was 23, Andy Mattis. Not sure if they blew the whistle, if he was down beforehand. I didn't quite see when the ball came out. A lot of excitement here. First part of this third quarter.
Yeah, no doubt. And with that, though, the time's, slowly moving away. We're inside 8 minutes here, 2nd down and goal from the 8-yard line. Stem takes a low snap and gets hit, and he will go down, never releasing and making a good play against the defense. Is starting to play well here for Notre Dame. They come up at a big time to make that play.
It was, and I think you see the Stem makes a good choice there. He doesn't do anything risky with the ball. He felt the pressure come from Notre Dame, and Notre Dame brings that pressure and able to get on him, and he just squeezes the ball, holds onto it, not giving it up.
Joey Rivatuso with the stop.
So now you have 3rd and long. You have to think, if you're Wilson, you're looking at running the ball here against this defense.
So 3rd down and goal from the 15. Stem. On the ground, they go the reverse. They get the block in front by Stem, and they won't get in. They'll get down inside the 5-yard line on the reverse play to Zach Gillen.
Yeah, because they had good blocking downfield, but the pursuit of Notre Dame's defense comes across. As you said, Stem does enough to catch a key block on the first part of that. And I think as you're looking at this ball in the 5, this is not a bad choice going for it. If it were me, though, if it were me, I'm going for the field goal here because you make it into a 3-score game.
Mm-hmm.
You can't get a first down. Now, maybe what you try to do,
try to draw
them off sides.
Yep. I'm with you there. I mean, obviously, there's a lot to be played here, and then right now, they're going to go for it. 4th and goal from the 5. The low snap, and the ball is loose, and the Crusaders come up out of the pile with it. So picking that one up is William Jordan, and that jacks up the crowd. So a huge play defensively for the Crusaders.
We'll have to see if the Wilson defense can come back and match this excitement, because if they cannot, Notre Dame's going to move the ball and work this offense. It looks like we're going to have Darno moving the quarterback with the absence of Quintano on the sideline.
Actually, no, because they were starting on this last, they were saying this isn't bad right now. Yeah, they were standing all the way up, so this isn't bad.
So 3rd quarterback, this time it's Darno. Darno we expected to start originally. Now here comes the pressure, and just lets that one go at the last second.
A smart choice by Darno, getting rid of that with an offensive player in the vicinity. Now, the one thing you have to watch out for with Notre Dame, with Darno at quarterback, is the element of the quarterback run that they didn't utilize with Quintano in his first game back. Darno's much more of a threat running the ball. as he is passing the ball.
Yeah, we mentioned over 20 yards. There's Frowen. Frowen has some space as they get a hold. They do not, and he will get the first down. Wasn't sure on the far side. And if you're wondering about Quintano is in street clothes now. Well, he's got his jersey on. Pads are off, so he's definitely out for the rest of the game. And didn't see really what happened with him in the first half, Matt. I don't know if you did at any point.
No, I just know he took a few shots late in the second quarter. And obviously you want to protect your young quarterback.
And right now, Crusaders having a little fire underneath them at the 6:20 mark.
And as Coach Stanball mentioned against Silicon Valley last week, they started out slow, but then were able to score points in the second half, just not able to slow down the Silicon Valley offense. Here they've been able to slow down the Wilson offense just enough to give themselves opportunities. And Coach Stanball has said that's all we want is to give ourselves an opportunity.
From the 33, Darno looking to throw, has a receiver if he wants, and the ball is loose. And the Crusaders give it up the ball as that one is picked up by Nick Gara.
And this is not good for Notre Dame either, as Darno is hurt and down on the ground. He gets sandwiched between two Wilson defenders, one from the backside and one from the front side.
So Darno walks back. That comes at the 5:54 mark. And Darno shaken up, but he comes to the sideline. Obviously frustrated, but at the same time, they got to kind of regroup. So no harm, no foul. If you're a Warrior, come right back and see if you can take some time off that clock and, add to your lead. Colby Frank on the first carry of the game for him.
And they run a fullback trap to flank just to keep them honest. Get some nice yardage. It goes about 4 yards. But as you said, other than not coming up with points on that previous drive, you get the ball right back and you're able to kill more time off that clock. But I think at this point, you have to, if you're Coach Labatch on the Wilson sideline, you have to know when you get in field goal range, you're taking the field goal this time. You can't afford to give yourself a second chance at that.
2nd down and 7. And again, the defense has really picked up here in the second half on the carry by C.J. Fazio. They bring up a 3rd down.
And on these third and a little bit longer, we've seen Wilson run a 3 wide receiver set and then finding Gillen sitting down in the soft spot of the zone.
Matt, you mentioned earlier, Seagay probably ranged right around, the 40 yards in.
So I think you need about 3-4 more yards. 3-4 more yards, give them a shot at that 40-yard field goal. The one thing you can't have happen, though, is you can't let Notre Dame come through with a block and potentially scoop and score for a quick turnaround, especially momentum turn.
3rd down and 7, the ball to 27, 4:30 and counting. Pumping and now stem throwing. And almost coming up with that one. Boy, just a little bit out of his reach. As he was looking for was Dylan Goldsworth. Goldsworth made that outstanding play earlier where it was juggled, and he made a catch in the same location.
Exactly. They did get Goldsworth behind the secondary. I think if Stem gives that one a little bit more air, they have a shot, but they're going to give Seagay a chance at this one.
And it'd be 44 yards.
About 44-yard field goal.
So Seagay from 44. We see some big field goals so far this year in high school football. Of course, the 53-yarder from Liberty. Here's Seagay with 4:25 on the clock to snap. The kick is up, has some distance, and that one looks like it is wide to the left.
Okay.
So
that was a good kick. You look at that. Seagay caught all of it, just pulled it left a little bit. Impressive with the distance out of him.
Mm-hmm.
As he was kicking it, so I'm like, oh, I see the bird. Yeah.
And Matt, you mentioned before, you had the chance to go for it earlier. You're not going to let that opportunity go away, even though the distance was a little farther than he wanted.
Exactly, and I think you have to take that shot. And as you see that, coming back, all right, we can get that. Just have to straighten it out. And then on top of it, you get 7 yards in bonus here because he kicked it through the end zone. It goes back to the 20.
So Darno in there at quarterback once again. And this is 3 quarterbacks coming in for the Crusaders. And we are down to the 4-minute mark of quarter number 3.
And this third quarter seems like it's been going pretty slow.
Doesn't seem like it has been. Well, there was that big penalty that lasted about 5 minutes. Darno pumps, now gets some pressure, throws, has a receiver, he's got Grego wide open. Down inside the 25, 20, 10, 5, touchdown. 77 yards on the score to Christian Grego.
And that's how quickly it can turn around. The defender falls, Darno waiting and waiting as long as he can. Throws it up and just allows Grego to run underneath it. It's kind of similar to the previous one we said about Caden Stem and Goldsworth. That time Darno lets Grego run underneath it, and then he does a great job by cutting to the left to create separation from the oncoming Wilson defender to free it up for the touchdown.
The great pass play by Darno, that's his 12th passing touchdown. For Grego, that's his 12th receiving touchdown. Grego came into the game with 26 catches for 439, averages just under 17 yards a catch. Well, that will add to that total on that big 77-yard reception. They will go for 2 here at 22-13.
And you have to think they're going to keep the ball in Darno's hands as much as possible.
Darno rolls near side in the middle of the field, and that is incomplete. Was looking in the direction of Joe Galley.
So it's still a 2-score game that we have here, 22-13. But continually that momentum just going back and forth between Wilson and Notre Dame.
We're going to break the Evancho curse.
And we mentioned earlier, Al, I'll bring it back up. Does that missed field goal by Notre Dame earlier in the game come back and plague them? But also the Wilson field goal or potential at another field goal, do they come back and plague them later in this game?
Well, right now an 8-point game, 22-13. Here's your score.
Nine points.
A 9-point lead, excuse me. And that one is picked up at the 27 and some space. There's a flag on the play right around the 35-yard line.
And you have to think this is going to either be blocking the back or holding against Wilson.
Every return, it's either holding or blocking the back.
It's blocking the back.
Glad you could join us here on D11Sports.com. Our Game of the Week presented by St. Luke's Sports Medicine. Al Carlo alongside Matt Evancho. 10 weeks, 11 games. You know, our first year doing it, Matt, and, you know, obviously an opportunity for us to, you know, do some broadcast, some games this year. We're excited to, you know, have you on board, of course, and you know, with the students doing a great job.
Absolutely. The students are doing a great job, and we've gotten to see some fantastic games this year.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we have not been let down yet.
Stem on the ground. There's a flag on the play.
And the flag looks like it's in the area of a chop block or a high-low block, which will probably go against Wilson.
Matt, you said the third quarter is taking long. The last 2 minutes or so is taking quite a bit. I know he had that 77-yard touchdown, but there's been a lot of penalties in this game, for a Week 10 kind of game. But, again, you got these guys battling out.
Correct. And I don't think we're seeing too many penalties, other than some false starts that, are ones where you're, as coaches, you're kind of trying to work against. I think for the most part, you're seeing penalties where, some emotion in a rivalry game, and you have to expect that a little bit. But as you said earlier, I think the team that can control that emotion longer is the team that wins.
That one almost intercepted, and it is.
Liam Carroll.
Wow. Liam Carroll comes up with the INT that just went right into his hands, and Notre Dame in business with 3:23 on the clock.
There's a middle screen Wilson was trying to set up. Liam Carroll did a great job just sitting down and waiting right where the quarterback was going. He comes up with the interception and puts Notre Dame in a position to score to close this to a one-score game.
So Carroll, they give him Planky here on the sideline. Still a long way to be played at this point as he gets the INT. So Darno from the 4. And Frowen has it, gets powered forward and in for the touchdown. A 4-yard touchdown by Matt Frowen. That's his 11th touchdown of the year.
And just like that, we're seeing a different kind of game here. Again, quick strike by Notre Dame. The quick strikes by Notre Dame, able to close this quickly.
Scores 19, Andrew scores 19.
Extra point. That is up, and that is good, but I think I heard a whistle prior. Yeah. Actually, Matt, I don't see a flag. I just heard a whistle prior. Not sure what was called there.
Are you kidding me? This is the worst officiating staff they've ever had in 20 years I've been here.
So it's 22-19. Now move back a little bit. With a big play, Matt, by Liam Carroll on the INT to Wilson 4 as Caden Stem went to throw. And, you got all those guys running from him and didn't really see where that ball was going. And Carroll comes up with the INT.
And that's one of the things with those screen passes. You have everybody in a blue jersey running at you. You are just throwing to a spot where your guy's supposed to be, and he never saw Liam Carroll, as you said. This penalty actually makes it a little bit dicier of an extra point.
Yeah, Garrido. Extra point is up, and extra point is no good. That went wide left. So it's a 3-point game.
So we can go back. I think we can wash this out. The fact that Wilson did not make their field goal or try a field goal, and also that Notre Dame missed a field goal, I think we're even with that. So now it's just a matter of who can play this next quarter, a little over a quarter, 15 minutes, and make something happen. Obviously, momentum's on Notre Dame's side.
Well, let's go back to Coach Stambaugh, what he told you and I before the game. If we score first, and if we score last. He didn't score first, but I think this game may be who scores last.
Exactly, and I think, go back to it, both of our student reporters said it. Who scores last is going to be the team that wins.
So 3:06 on the clock, 22-19 is your score.
Cody Smith is heading to the PIAA States as well. So congratulations to Cody Smith.
So Garrido to the kickoff.
I'm sorry, timeout clock.
And that one popped up and picked up around the 14-yard line. And a lot of space here to the near side. And making the turn is Damian Simpson. And Simpson just like that, Simpson gets all the way down to the 45-yard line. You know, you always talk about the three facets of the game, and you get them right there. And, you know, you put it there. Take a look at the Crusaders and their schedule this year. Crusaders won their first two games. Obviously, the big win against Northwestern. Northwestern ends up winning the Colonial League, you know, over Southern Lehigh after they had the head-to-head. They lose to Southern Lehigh 62-27. That was the game that Quintana was hurt. And then, you know, you look at last week, the Saucon Valley game, that was the one that kind of hurt them right there, 34-21. And now they put themselves in the position here.
And they put themselves in a position of they win or go home. They have to pull out this win against Wilson.
Quick toss, and I'm not sure if he saw that one coming, did Alex Snyder. He'll get pushed forward and get back to the line of scrimmage. So at 2:44 remaining on the clock. The Warriors, meanwhile, lost to Northern Lehigh. And, you know, Matt, when you look at Wilson, it's crazy because they had a tough loss to Northern Lehigh. You go look at Salisbury. They had a tough loss there, you know, and then all of a sudden, you know, the loss against Palmerton, which really they would want it back. So, you know, this team can have a couple more wins.
Absolutely. And you take a look at also the game against Northwestern, 49-30. I don't think that final score is indicative of really what that game was like. So they've been competing and they've been in games, and you're seeing that today with both of these teams actually.
Second down and 11 from the 45. Looking to throw, connects, and extra effort and still on his feet and getting the first down. Great job by by Isaiah Casado. Casado, a 5'8", 155-pound senior.
And no better time than that senior to come up with a big catch. And it looked like a very dangerous throw by Caden Stem. He had a Notre Dame defender, I believe it was Ben Carlin, one of our student reporters, sitting right underneath that route. And just as his head was turned, that's when the ball came by him, finding Casado for that big run. It's all extra effort in yards after contact for Casado.
First down and 10 from the 27. Darno pumps, now throws. In traffic, that could be dangerous, and almost intercepted. Again, when you're throwing in double coverage, things can come up sour. Almost did, as Matt Walke almost come up with that INT.
And this is where, if you're Wilson, you need to get back to that running game. I know you want to take shots on second down or first down, but that time you have to look at that. They had Wolke sitting back in the center field, reading the quarterback. You had man coverage underneath, so he's looking where that quarterback's going, and he's coming over top, and he nearly comes up with that interception on the sideline.
The ball at the 27. Second down and 10, $1:29 on the clock. Trips far side of the field. Stem on the handoff. Nowhere to go initially. And again, great defense as Fazio doesn't get much yards.
Wilson offense trying to spread out the Notre Dame defense and try to run on 6 in the box and just not having any kind of success. Notre Dame is staying home, not letting Wilson get to the outside, forcing them in a box, and then just collapsing on them.
So inside a minute to play, third quarter, nonstop action between Wilson and Notre Dame. It's 22-19. Wilson has led throughout in this contest. Up at 1 point, 14-0. Notre Dame has battled back. Here, third down and 10 from the 27. Stem hit as he throws. Again, that ball's up in the air. There was contact made and incomplete. The catch was made, but he was out of bounds.
Yeah, he ran right over the pylon as he made that catch, so clearly out of bounds, and Wilson has an offensive lineman down on the ground.
77.
Message. You don't want to lose him.
So Joshua Messick is player down, a 6'3", 235-pound sophomore.
He's wearing 77.
Also see Bob Stem. So the ball at the 27-yard line. And we'll take a break in the action. D11sports.com Game of the Week presented by St. Luke Sports Medicine. 22-19 is your score. Back after this.
So you're hurting. Is it your back or your knee? That old football injury? Get the rehabilitation you need. In most cases, you won't need a script from your doctor. In Pennsylvania and New Jersey, a law called direct access lets you see a physical therapist without a prescription. And if your insurance requires a prescription, physical therapy at St. Luke's will work with your doctor to get you the care you need that is covered. Let us speed up your recovery. We're in your neighborhood. Call Physical Therapy at St. Luke's.
We are back. Messick is back on his feet, walking to the sideline. That is always a great sign, Matt.
And this brings up 4th down. So this is an interesting call, what you're going to do, Wilson. You're obviously not punting it. You're just outside of field goal range, I believe, but they're bringing Seagay out to give him a shot.
All right.
He had plenty of leg last time.
Yeah, he did. He just, went wide left. So Seagay's going to attempt, what is it, 45-yard field goal.
Give him 45 and a half.
All right, I'll give him 45
and a half on the field goal, just outside the 35-yard line.
So Seagay from 46. That one is up. Does it have enough? And that one is short. So Wilson with a couple attempts at the field goal. That one just got up on him. And now Notre Dame, for the first time in this game in a while, they have a chance to take the lead.
They do, and I think that's what they have to hang their hat on right now, that they have a chance to come out and take a lead. Wilson defensively has to come out here, and they need to just get a stop. Get a stop on 1st down, take it one play at a time. Likewise for Notre Dame offensively, they just want to get yardage. Get some yardage on 1st down, and then play from there, see what they can do. They obviously have had some success running the ball with Darno and Frowen in the backfield.
So Darno stays in there, Frowen in the backfield. As you mentioned, they go 3 receivers bunched up here to the near side. They'll pitch this out to Frowen. Frowen will try to get a block in front and does, and now cuts through. Frowen has some space and gets tripped up at midfield. Are you starting to sense playoff atmosphere already?
Oh, it's been playoff atmosphere. Other than that long, drawn-out 3rd quarter in the beginning, you're seeing that kind of play out of both these teams. It's a chess match between these coaching staffs.
Aren't even there. This guy's calling.
So the ball at the 49, possibly the last play of the 3rd. Matt, we still are in the 3rd, by the way. And Darno takes it, has some space. Darno off to the races, 51 yards for the touchdown. Check it, 49 yards for the touchdown for Darno, and Notre Dame has taken the lead.
And that time Wilson brought a blitz, and Darno just kept the ball on the counter, hits it up the middle where the linebackers vacated on the blitz. And here Notre Dame has a chance, as you said, to take the lead. And this comes down to a key extra point here, which puts it out of field goal range.
So Garrido with the extra point. And that one is up, and that one is through. 26-22, Notre Dame on top.
And you see the momentum starting to shift. Notre Dame hanging on that. It's been their defense that has really been the key this second half for Notre Dame. Their defense has come out, made some adjustments, and getting stops early on and making things happen for this, and then putting the offense in a position where they have the opportunity to make plays.
So Matt, Freedom comes back. Freedom beats Liberty today 23-19. So again, nothing official yet. However, that all said, in the 6A classification, with the Freedom victory, Nazareth will be the 1, Freedom will be the 2, and PM West will pop in as the number 8 seed, who we saw a couple times this year.
And how wonderful is that? You have Pocono Mountain West getting into the playoffs in the 6A classification. You also have Pocono Mountain East in the playoffs in the 5A classification, too, with Coach Robbie Milosky doing a nice job picking up a key win last night against West.
So 26-22, 8.9 seconds on the clock. Notre Dame on top for the first time this afternoon in front of a packed house. They have them on the fences as well. And this one will be fielded at the 11-yard line, taken there by Fazio. Fazio bounces off the first defender and gets driven to the ground. A different type of atmosphere here for the Crusaders as we head towards the fourth quarter, still a second left.
You see a lot more energy out of Notre Dame defensively on the kickoff coverage. We talked about the special teams earlier too. How can they play a role in this? And I think field position wise, you just force Wilson with a long field to get some points to get up again.
Last play of the third. And with that, we'll go to the fourth quarter, 26-22 in favor of Notre Dame. Back after this, you're watching our D11sports.com Game of the Week, presented by St. Luke's Sports Medicine.
St. Luke's Orthopedic Care. Extraordinary care in motion.
We are back, 26-22, Notre Dame on top of Wilson, Carlo, Matt Evancho, and Matt, this is a game that we expected to be back and forth, and it indeed is.
And as you said, you wanted a rivalry, you wanted playoff atmosphere. You're seeing that out of both teams right now. It's Notre Dame with the upper hand. They came out of, I think, what we would both consider a little bit of a sloppy third quarter penalty-wise, and then just not finishing drives, both teams. But then Notre Dame gets the two big strikes. They get the pass to Grego. He's the first strike. Then you get the run by Darno. That's the second strike. And then in between that, you have that sandwich into the interception by Liam Carroll, which set up Frowen for the short touchdown run. So three quick scores have put Notre Dame up on top. And we talked about how quickly they could score offensively.
Second, close enough.
Looking to throw, and Carlo almost came up with the INT.
And that's the same pass that was completed earlier that went right by Carlin. This time he was not going to be fooled. He sat underneath the route. Stem was looking for Gillen sitting on the hitch route. Carlin from his linebacker spot came out, sat underneath it, and nearly comes up with an interception.
So third down and 10 from the 24. Fakes the toss. Now looks. No one downfield. Here comes the pressure, and the ball is loose. They say he was down, but Shaq Harris again in there making another play for Notre Dame.
And Stem really had nothing to do. That was well covered by Notre Dame's defense. They ran a fake screen out to Snyder to the right, and they were looking to get Gillen or Goldsworth coming underneath. They were looking to get Goldsworth or Gillen coming underneath on the screen.
So it's third down and 9, the ball at the 24. And with that, fourth down, and the punting music comes in. Here's Seagay. I think this is the first punt of the day for Seagay, is it not?
It's his second.
Second? Okay.
One other.
Oh, yeah, that's right, earlier. So Seagay, will they field this one? It may take a positive roll. It does. But the Crusaders now with the lead, with the momentum, and with the football.
And that's a dangerous combination for Notre Dame.
So we're in the fourth quarter. Take you to the scoring if you're just joining us. And it's been Quite the afternoon. C.J. Fazio scored an 8-yard touchdown run with 2:37 left in the first. Made it 6-0. 28-yard field goal was no good by Nick Garrido. We went to the second quarter, a 30-yard touchdown by Caden Stem to Zach Gillen at the 7:03 mark. 2-point conversion from Stem to Alex Snyder made it 14-0 in favor of the Warriors. Darno, by the way, the third quarterback, as it was Colin Quintano back from injury. He started the game, but he is now on the sidelines. A 3-yard touchdown run by Matt Frowen made it 14-7. Quintano to Derek Burlitz, a big pass play that set that up. Then Alex Snyder went in from a yard. A 2-point conversion by Snyder made it 22-7. That was at the half. Third quarter, William Jordan picked up a fumble recovery at the 8. Then Darno fumbled. Nick Gore picked it up at the Notre Dame 29. Nothing happened there. Seagay went with a 44-yard field goal. It was wide left. Here, 2nd down and 3. The ball at the 48. Darno gets over to Grego. And Grego will get the first down. Then a 77-yard touchdown from Darno to Christian Grego. Jeez. 3:43 mark. They missed a 2-point conversion, make it 22-13. Liam Carroll came up with the big INT at the Wilson 4. 3:06 on the clock, and a 4-yard touchdown run by Frowen, his second. Made it Wilson still 22-19 as the extra point was no good. Seagay missed a field goal from 45, and then a 49-yard touchdown run by Andrew Darno to make it 26-22. And here Frowen gets pushed out of bounds, but again, after a solid pickup inside the 35-yard line.
And that's a nice individual effort by Frowen, eluding the tackle of Alex Snyder in the backfield. Able to just get out of that. Again, we talked about that earlier about can Wilson tackle in space, because when Notre Dame gets the ball in space, if they can make that first guy miss, they're getting some big gains.
What a crazy day here in Notre Dame.
Ball down to the 33. And Frowen has it again, pushes forward. Is going to be a couple yards short of that first down as he gets down to about the 31-yard line.
And you have to think here, Al, this is going to be 2-down territory for Notre Dame. They're ahead with the lead. 3rd and 4, looks like a long 4 for them. They're still in running downs. They're still in running situation. If they can pick up 2 or 3, and then pick up 2 or 3 again, they move the sticks. Obviously, Wilson needs to get them a big stop right now to kind of force the hand of Notre Dame's offense. But you have to think the ball's going to stick in Darno's hands or Frowen's hands.
10 minutes on the clock. Grego to the far side. They'll pitch it to Frowen. Frowen gets a block from Grego. I thought he had a block from Grego, but a good job defensively of getting that one around. But it was Jacob Lutry. He went right around Grego and makes a stop.
And you mentioned it there. If Grego's able to pick up that block on Lutry, I think Frowen has a lot of space. But that looks to go for no gain and forcing a 4th and long. I think this is something you have to go with. And here we have Colin Quintano coming back on the field for Notre Dame, which is going to allow Darno to go back to receiver.
Wow. How about the shoulder pads were off earlier? Shoulder pads are now on, and he's back in the game.
Well, as long as he's not injured, and Coach Stanball would never put a kid in harm's way. If he's not injured, and this is your do or die right now, you need to make this happen. This can seal the game, or at least give him a great opportunity to seal the game for Notre Dame.
So 4th and 6 from the 33. Looking to run, and now throws it. Has a receiver, it's Grego, and that's incomplete. Grego got behind the defender, but couldn't convert.
And again, that's another. We mentioned it before about Stem too. Darno did do it. I think that one, Quintano just throws a little bit more air under that. I think Grego runs under that, but I know looking at the coaching staff, talking to him on the sideline right now, they're probably saying to him, you had some room there. You could have run for that first down potentially, and then get down without taking a hit, and then pick up that first down for the offense.
No.
So the Warriors will take over, down by 4. Again, they need a touchdown here to take the lead. We're at the 9-minute mark. Stem with a long count. Middle part of the field, incomplete. He was looking for Isaiah Casado.
And providing coverage for Notre Dame was Ben Carlin. He was right there getting his hand to try to disrupt that pass. Ball a little low for Casado, but potentially catchable, but Carlin making a nice play on the ball.
See Bob Frankenfield, the Wilson Athletic Director, on the far sideline, taking in the game. Always great to catch up with him. Full of stories, no question. Fakes the toss and now gets flushed out and then throws the football. And he was down on the play. No, mark it dead. But those are the dangerous ones that you don't want to do. You're just going to eat up the sack, Matt.
Yeah, just eat up the sack on that one. But he definitely did pitch the ball out, but it was not until after they were blowing him dead with the sack.
I'm telling you, it's this stuff.
Yeah, it is.
So 26-22.
I hate to bring up, there was a 3rd and long in the 3rd quarter that Wilson was bailed out of with a roughing the passer. So you have to hope Notre Dame learned from that. They're not going to get anywhere close to him to roughing the passer, as you believe they're going to drop back and throw the ball.
That ball snapped and is on the ground, and he gets drilled on the play. Wow, a huge hit coming through from the near side, Derek Bullets.
And it looks like Notre Dame has a player down on the ground.
Stop the clock, injury.
And getting up and starting to walk off on his own was William Jordan, number 4. You hope he's okay as he continues to walk off the field on his own.
And Seagay now we come back in to punt with 8 minutes on the clock, Matt. Again, it's still just a touchdown game.
And right now for Wilson, you're looking to punt for the first down. And you have Darno back deep. This is potentially something you don't want him touching the ball, so you need your outside guys, the gunners, to get downfield as fast as possible to limit his ability to run the ball.
High snap. Gets a good one off, and it's going to be Darno going to call for a fair catch. And did everything he had to do with that big boot.
It was, and credit both teams there. Seagay with the high kick, forcing Darno to fair catch, but then also Darno back there under a lot of pressure to fair catch that and make sure he secures the catch for Notre Dame.
So 7:48 on the clock, 26-22. You're watching our D11sports.com game of the week, presented by St. Luke's Sports Medicine. It's been a back and forth affair. Wilson actually led at one point 14-0. Notre Dame has battled back. They started things off with Colin Quintano.
And we have
Connor Aquino
back on the field here as well for Notre Dame.
And Darno in there. So we are back to Quintano in at quarterback. And he will go on the ground and Frowen. Frowen himself having a pretty good day today. A couple touchdowns and being productive.
Correct, and I think he's doing it quietly too. He's not really. He's making a couple big plays, but he's just grinding out the ball on from the opportunities that he's getting. But as you said, getting a couple short touchdown runs, but just being solid for Notre Dame in the running game.
So 7-17 and counting. Notre Dame again. If they win, they'll jump over and get a 3 seed likely. He gets pressured and hit as he throws, but has the receiver. That's Frowen, and Frowen will get the first down. Another hit, though, and Coach Stamba is irate on the sidelines, not happy. He thought there was a late hit.
And obviously, Coach Stamba trying to protect his quarterback. Not quite sure if that was too late or not, but those are the hits you do not want Quintano taking.
Timeout. Officials.
So 6:57 on the clock, 26-22 is your score.
And the far official looks like they're talking to the chain gang.
We're having a problem with the chains or what?
Yeah, we're having a problem with the clock. We're having a problem with TV. We're having a problem with the chains.
26-22. 6:57 on the clock. Wilson coming in at 5-4. Notre Dame at 6-3 after the loss to Saucon Valley. a week ago.
Start it up.
Warriors in as a 7 seed. Here's Frowen. And who we have the Warriors against Pottsville, I think is that what we mentioned?
Yeah, Wilson looks like they're solidified in as a 7, and I believe Pottsville is the 2. Bethlehem Catholic is at 3. I believe they could gain some points off of the Allen Deeriff game today, but I don't think it's going to be enough to catch Pottsville and push them out of that number 2 slot.
Second down and 6 from the 33. Quintano over to Darno, and Darno will get the first down. Actually gets knocked out of bounds with 6:13.
And again, it comes back to beating that first tackler in the open space. Once he's able to beat the first tackler, then it's just big yardage for him afterwards. Now, we talked about it before about Wilson at the end of the first half. Here for Notre Dame, they don't need to be greedy. They don't need to. Quintano just needs to make smart choices because they are close to field goal range for Garita.
Quintano going to go on the ground. And Frowen trying to break through, and he does. And Frowen gets solid. Does he go out of bounds here? They say no. Yes, he did. But Frowen on the inside.
Looked like he was stopped right at the line of scrimmage. Yeah. But he never stopped his legs. You know, that's something for young running backs to look at, how he continues to drive those legs and never give up on the play. And he makes a big play out of what looked to be near disaster for them for no gain.
So second down. They're going to throw and looking for Darno. And as Darno's feet down, they say no. Darno had to reach out there to try to get that one, but it was in the back part of the end zone. And bring up a third down.
And that's a perfect position there. We talked about Quintano not taking chances, not being risky. He threw that to where only his guy could catch it.
There's a flag then thrown in after that word. You know, Matt, you said before Nick Garrido, and all of a sudden you're looking at a third down coming up, and the ball is sitting at the 19.
Personal foul on Darno.
And that's going to put them in 3rd and long, just when you were looking at solidifying the game. Coach Stanball cannot be happy with the personal fouls that he's gotten today, that his team has ensued. He's got to. That's something. If they win this game, they cannot allow that to happen come playoff time.
And with that, the ball all the way up towards the 34-yard line.
Everything's good.
And that kind of changed things a little bit. So 6 minutes remaining.
And now we have a false start against Notre Dame. Number 12, Darno moved early.
So 5:53 on the clock. And that sometimes, you know, your band is trying to go with you, but sometimes it gets a little too loud as well. And I think that was a concern there, you know, that I don't think they heard the snap count.
Correct. And when you look at that, though, as a receiver, if you're moving, that should not happen. You should not be listening to your quarterback. Your eyes should be on the ball. You're watching the ball get snapped.
And coming in and making the play is Jacob Lutry.
And I think this is going to force a punt out of Notre Dame.
And you never saw this coming from where they were positioned on the field.
No, they were sitting at 3rd and 4. And then you had the personal foul, then you had the false start, and now you have a sack that's forcing this punt. We just said Wilson was punting for a first down. Now we're seeing Notre Dame punt for a first down.
So the ball from the 46. And Garrido gets a good one off, and it's going to take a nice roll.
And And
you got to be
nice punt.
I was going to say, a great punt, but you got to be extra careful. All of a sudden, you get your foot in there, and you almost had the ball roll into the end zone.
I want to say that was Derek Burlitz down there. He looked at that right foot just as he picked up the ball, thinking it might have been in the end zone. But then also the ball almost rolled to the goal line. So a great job by Notre Dame downing that inside right off the goal line.
So 5:05 on the clock. I believe they went, 92 yards earlier on the drive. Here they have to go 99 yards. First things first, trying to get a little space. And they try to push forward. Do a good job there, get up to about the 3.5, 4 yard line.
And that gives them a little bit of space to work with. You saw Notre Dame's defense in the middle, the A-gaps, just diving in, causing a pile. But then you have STEM keeping the ball. And one of the big things with that, when you have that quarterback sneak, especially at high school, is you get the center trying to get down and get a block as quickly as he can, and the quarterback moving forward. Sometimes that messes up the snap. So credit to Wilson getting the snap and able to get some yardage to give him a little bit of room to work.
Second down and 7. On the ground they go once again. And popped hard on the play.
That was
good job of Michael Irving.
Michael Irvin. His senior day at Notre Dame Field. He comes up with a nice tackle, a big stick on second down. Fazio was trying to jump and pop it to the outside, but Irving wasn't having it. He stayed home. He came up, and he made the big stop.
That's going to be on Notre Dame, right?
So 4:08 on the clock. And 26-22.
We come out from the timeout. 4:08 left. Wilson comes over. This is going to be a big stop for Notre Dame. Big play for Wilson's offense.
Ball sits at the 3, 3rd down and 8. Looking to throw, and flares one across. And the extra effort diving forward. A good job there by Colby Flank. And we'll move the chains for a first down.
Wilson decides to go with play action on that play. They fake the run up in the middle. They have Flank going out in the flat. They had Goldsworth going deep on the corner route. And STEM was looking deep for Goldsworth, but Irving and number 11, Gavin Gibbs, were sitting deep on him. So he makes a smart choice, comes underneath, hits Flank in the flat, and then he does the rest to get the first down and keep this drive alive. This is important for Wilson to keep this drive going because they need to score points and get something going for them.
Ball sits at the 17, and nowhere to go. Great job defensively for the Crusaders. A host of blue jerseys coming in there, making the stop, including Derek Burlitz. You mentioned Burlitz has done a good job offensively and defensively today.
Absolutely. I mean, he's been doing everything for them. He's, just like I said about Jake Hull, he's doing the dirty work. He's down there in the trenches. He's working against those linemen. He beat the block of the offensive lineman and got to STEM before that play was ever able to get started.
Inside 3 minutes to play. Low snap for STEM. Throws in traffic, and that one incomplete. And a good job by Ben Carlin to break that up.
And he was looking for Zach Gillen, but as you said, Carlin underneath the route like before, but that time he tips it, and as he does that, Gavin Gibbs, number 11, was coming over to ready to undercut the route as well and possibly pick that off.
We're back to a 3rd down and long situation here for the Warriors with 2:53 on the clock. 26-22. 3rd down and 12. The ball sits at the 15-yard line for Caden STEM. Low snap again. Here comes some pressure. Throws. And that one is well overthrown. So, Matt, 2:47. You have 3 timeouts. You're putting the football here.
I think you have to punt the ball. You cannot afford to give Notre Dame the ball back this deep in their own territory.
And you had a great punt earlier by Seagay.
You have to come out here and you have to get the ball out at least to somewhere around the 40 or 50.
Opportunity with the ball down here, just like they said.
And try to get the ball out there. They have 3 timeouts. If they can get a stop.
That guy has a good leg. Seagay's got a really good leg. Don't even touch the ball. He didn't get a good roll.
This one gets a positive roll when right around the 47, 48-yard line. So 2:38 on the clock. Crusaders will try to run some more time off this clock and see if they can punch their ticket into the District 11 playoffs.
It'll be 1st and 10.
You said it before, Al. It's going to be the last team with the ball is going to win the game. I think we're coming very close to that right now.
Yep, no doubt.
Very likely could be Notre Dame's last offensive possession. If Wilson can get the ball back, they'll potentially have one more possession. So this is kind of the game, this drive.
Quintano stays in the game. The toss to Frowen. Frowen has some space, and Frowen's off to the races. And Frowen is gone. 53 yards for Matt Frowen. And that may have locked up a district berth for the Notre Dame Crusaders.
And well, you said it before, it's been Matt Frowen doing the job. You know, you didn't really hear a whole lot about what he was doing today because Darno kind of took center stage a little bit, but Frowen has been consistent all game long. It's been that same toss play that they've been able to get outside and gets him into space, and then if you get him to beat that first tackler, he's tough to bring down in the secondary.
Yeah, just started right.
Extra point by Garrido. And Garrido has that one. Okay, game was at 14-0 at one point. Frowen now with 3 touchdowns on the day. None bigger than that one, though.
No, and I think, again, it's the complement of these players together, Frowen, Darno, and also Grego. You know, Grego's been kind of quiet today, but he's been doing some little things here and there. He had that one long touchdown reception. So it's just the complement of all of them together. And as we said before, is it going to be the team that has the ball last? They're going to be the one that wins it. Well, you have the home team up 11 right now, so this is tough sledding moving forward here for Wilson in this game.
33-22. So Frown with a 53-yard touchdown run, a 4-yard touchdown run, and a 3-yard touchdown run. And touchdown 11, 12, and 13 of the season. So 2:28 on the clock, 33-22 is your score. And this one, bounce to the outside. Good job there by Dylan Galsworth.
As the Wilson offense comes on the field, you have to think they're putting the ball. He's in Stem's hands. He's going to have to throw it. So it's going to come down to Gillen. It's going to come down to Goldsworth, Casado. Can they make some plays for this offense, and can Stem find them? But Notre Dame's defense, who's been playing solid this entire second half, they have not given up a point this second half so far today.
Ball from the 41. Stem to throw. He gets hit as he throws, and that one is knocked away. Good job defensively by Joe Galley.
And as you see that Simpson looks like he comes up limping. Looked like he twisted his ankle as he went to the ground.
Was that OJ?
And that's what you don't want to see right now. You want to see both these teams come out healthy as they move forward. As it looks, both teams will move forward to the District 11 playoffs.
I'm sure he is. I saw the verdict. He was not guilty.
33-22 is your score as the Crusaders were down 14-0 in this one, and things started to change. And as it did, Matt, now Notre Dame is 2 minutes and change to get in. And again, we always said that, if they get in, they can make some noise.
And that's all you have to do. As any team, all you want to do is get in. If you get in, it's a whole new season. Anything can happen from there. As you said, it was 14-0 at one point. Then it was 22-7 at the half. And as you look at that, you're kind of thinking, okay, where are the opportunities? I think both coaching staffs will go back, look at the opportunities where they could have maybe come away with a touchdown or here or there. And it's been really, all the credit's going to go to the Notre Dame offense in the second half. But you have to credit this Notre Dame defense in the second half. They're the ones who really has given that offense the opportunity to score points.
No, at the half.
Yeah, they scored a point.
22-7 at the half?
Yeah.
Wow. Unbelievable. Clock is good.
Looking to throw. And wrapped up again. Matt, you keep talking about that defense, and you know what? We keep talking about Shaq Harris getting in there.
It's just a lot of pressure, and they're not bringing a lot of blitzing. It's just the pressure from the front four with Jake Hull kind of just spying in there. He's another added guy coming. So they're just working with 5 coming against the offensive 5.
Flushed out again. And he's going to throw this one in triple coverage. Wow. And Zach Gillen almost comes up with that catch.
Yeah, the ball was there. Gillen could have caught it. But again, as you said, in triple coverage, and it was Gavin Gibbs, number 11, number 18, Matt Wolke, and then you also had number 12, Andrew Darno back there in that coverage.
Wow. Wow, what a day.
And right now with 1:40 on the clock, so if they jump Pine Grove, which that's what we expect to happen, it'll be Notre Dame and Tamaqua, and then North Schuylkill and Pine Grove. Again, last year it was North Schuylkill that beat Notre Dame by a score of 36-0.
And you bring up North Schuylkill. I'd be remiss if we didn't mention this. We had a chance to watch North Schuylkill against Wyomissing earlier in the year, and they have their quarterback, Jaden Leiby, just a fantastic athlete. Just saw on Twitter earlier before this game started, I believe he was life-flighted to the hospital with a broken neck last night. So prayers go out to him and the Leiby family, the North Schuylkill family. We're wishing the best for Jaden Leiby. He's just a great kid when we got to meet him a few weeks ago.
No question about it. I did know everything that you said, and prayers, thoughts, and prayers are to everyone there in North Schuylkill, and especially the Leiby family. Hopefully, everything goes well there. Here, 1:35 on the clock, and the Crusaders didn't like the way they started, but they're sure liking the way this game is ending.
They have, and I think that's something, Coach Stanball mentioned about the Saucon Valley game. They just weren't able to start fast, but they were able to finish fast. Just not enough to get the win. Here it looks like they're just going to try to run the clock out with the running game.
And Frowen's going to say, okay, I'll do it with my 4th touchdown. 24 yards for Frowen. And Matt, someone looks at the scoreboard and they didn't, watch the game. They're going to say, oh, well, Notre Dame just cruised along. They wouldn't know what actually happened in this game.
Exactly. It was a tale of two halves when you look at it, and that's why as a team you need to play all 4 quarters. And I know both these staffs talk to their players about that. It's just a matter, you need to finish games. You need to play the first, the second, the third, the 4th quarter, because everything can come back and haunt you at some time. So Notre Dame did just enough in the first half to keep themselves close, but then they finished it off in the 4th quarter and the 3rd quarter.
Garrido with the extra point that squeaks his way through to increase the lead to 40-22. And Coach Stambaugh, whose team scores points in bunches and scores quick, showing that here in the fourth quarter, looking to advance into the District 11 tournament.
Exactly, and I think both teams need to clean some things up moving forward. I think both of them actually come into it with some nice matchups, the ability to play some teams they don't normally play, but also be able to get out of here and show them what Lehigh Valley football is like. Wilson, as we said, would travel to Pottsville. Pottsville's having a fantastic season, very good. And then, as you said, Notre Dame with the win should bump up to 3, which would mean they're going to travel to Tamaqua for a playoff game next weekend as well. So I think, both of these teams cleaning up mistakes can get up there and possibly make some things happen.
Now this crowd, which was a little quieter earlier, has really jumped up. We talked about the rivalry. Our student reporters down the field, Elijah and Tyler, both talked about the rivalry as well when they talked to both coaches and to get you up. And, let's talk about Wilson, though. Wilson also can be a huge, huge threat. Yeah, they're going to lose this football game today, but at the same time, Matt, they put themselves in position. They're going to take on, if all according to plan, a very good Pottsville team, and, if that's the case, Pottsville's tough too, but it puts you in that 2-7 bracket. Yeah. But Lehighton, who we saw earlier this year, is going to get in.
Yes. And you look at this and what it's going to do, I think, with Wilson, they need to come back and just regroup. They can come up there and go up to Pottsville, and they can compete. They've showed they can compete against every team. It's just a matter of putting together those 4 quarters. Notre Dame, same way. If they're going to go into that District 11 3A playoff bracket, they need to go in and they need, as Coach Stambaugh said, they need to find an answer to starting fast. They can't afford in the playoffs to kind of just roll along for 2 quarters and then come play that 3rd and 4th. They need to play all 4 quarters.
I know it's not us, but since when?
On the ground by Snyder. Cuts up field. And we'll get the first down and still on his feet after a pick up about 18.
Stop made by first down.
After first down.
Stop made by number 18.
On the stop, number 18, Ryan. Excuse me, Matt Walker.
As you said, Al, when you look at that score, 40-22, that's not indicative of what this game was. But again, it's a tale of 2 quarters. It was a matter of Notre Dame making the plays when they needed to and getting the opportunities and then capitalizing on those opportunities. Fazio on the run there. This is the running game that they used earlier in the game. Fazio gets taken down by Irving on the side. And for Wilson moving forward offensively, they have a lot of youth, especially Stem at quarterback, a sophomore, Gillen a sophomore, Simpson a sophomore. They just have to continue to work them and continue to get them to grow. And they're going to learn how to play 4 quarters. Notre Dame has a little bit more experience, as you can see. They didn't let themselves get flustered. They stayed calm and composed. They did have some personal fouls, something we mentioned Coach Stambaugh is going to want to go back and look at to clean up, because you can't have that happen in the playoffs as well. So we were treated to a very good game today.
Yeah, no doubt about it. The Notre Dame faithful, they know they're in. Coach Stambaugh said, yeah, we got to play well to move forward, and they get the victory here in front of their home fans. And Coach Stambaugh is jacked up and elated after the victory, making his way through the line as they win this one. So they are very excited here as they win this one. Again, they were down 14-0 in this game. And from there, things started to change a little bit. And with that, they come back and they end up winning this game by a score of 40-22. And they are moving on in the District 11 tournament with the victory for them. We'll come back and we'll talk to our player of the game right after this on D11Sports.com.
See you somewhere, sometime.
Hall Hall of Fame pitcher Steve Carlton knows what it takes to exceed expectations. He knows what it means to be part of a team that rises above the competition. He knows a champion. Steve Carlton knows St. Luke's Orthopedic Care. Hall of Fame pitcher Steve Carlton knows what it takes to exceed expectations. He knows what it means to be part of a team that rises above the competition. He knows a champion. Steve Carlton knows St. Luke's Orthopedic Care.
Where your fitness matters. Regardless of what shape you're in, St. Luke's Fitness and Sports Performance Centers have a professional team that will help you meet or exceed your fitness goals. With locations throughout the region and nationally recognized fitness experts, you'll become a member of a supportive fitness community. We call it Extraordinary Fitness. Visit us online to start your free 7-day membership and let us help you thrive. Are you searching for a place where you belong? Where your fitness matters?
St. Luke's Orthopedic Care. Extraordinary care in motion.
We are back. 40-22 is your final score as Phil Stambaugh is down the field talking to his team. And, you know, Matt, you've been in this position before. Take us through what Coach Stambaugh is telling his team right now.
Well, he's pointing at the scoreboard, and he's just telling the team, be happy with this win, but don't be happy with how it happened. I think they all know it was sloppy. They need to go back. They need to clean up quite a bit. I mean, they have the potential to make some things happen in that District 11 playoffs. They definitely do, but they need to make sure they come out and they play complete games. I think the first quarter kind of got away from them a little bit. Then they kind of slowed into it the second quarter. But the third and fourth quarter, their defense came out and played phenomenal. Their offense put points on the board. You saw their quick strike offense. But he knows he has to get this team to play 4 quarters, and they need to clean up. And I think having Colin Quintano back, now he has 1 game under his belt again, I think that's going to be helpful for them moving forward.
So 40-22 is your final as the Crusaders win this one, and the Coach Stambaugh talks, and we'll get to our player of the game. And, you know, you can really go back and forth, you know, player of the game. You mentioned defense was really productive, and, you know, the offense did a good job as well, and, you know, it really came to play, you know, and getting the job done. A team now in Notre Dame that once you're in, you can make damage. Now, all of a sudden, they're in. You can say, oh, they lost last year to North Schuylkill. They have revenge on their mind. They have to get through Tamaqua. There's a lot to go through it. But first things first, you have to win.
And it's true for both teams. The slate's wiped clean. And I think each coaching staff is really going to mention that to them, that the slates are clean. Everybody has a new season. This is all about the new season of the playoffs. Now it's a matter of, can we go in and can we make something happen? And they're going to have to do it cleanly. They have to play clean football moving forward.
The defensive player for his outstanding play today, number 56, Liam Carroll. Congratulations to both of them. Congratulations to the Notre Dame Crusaders for a great year. Check the papers for information relative to next week's games.
So as the players swarm the field, we're trying to get our student reporters down there to get our player of the game in Frowen, who is in a mix of people. And this is what happens when you get there. Try to take you through the scoring one last time while we get them situated. C.J. Fazio with an 8-yard touchdown to make it 6-0. 28-yard field goal by Garrido was no good. A 30-yard touchdown by Caden Stem to Zach Gillen. 2-point conversion from Stem to Alex Snyder made it 14-0. 3-yard touchdown run by Matt Frown made it 14-7. And then Alex Snyder, a 1-yard touchdown, made it 22-7. William Jordan had a fumble recovery at the 8. Darno fumbled and Nick Gora recovered at the 29. No damage done as well. Lorenzo Sigue missed a 44-yard field goal. 77-yard touchdown by Darno to Grego. They missed a 2-point conversion to make it 22-13. Liam Carroll came out with a big INT at the Wilson 4. That led to a 4-yard touchdown run by Frowen. Extra point was no good to make it 22-19. Then a missed field goal once again, this time from 45 yards, Matt. That was 2 long field goals he attempted at that point. Then a 49-yard touchdown run by Andrew Darno and made it 26-22. Then a 53-yard touchdown run by Frown to make it 33-22. And then a 24-yard touchdown run by Matt Frown to make it 40-22. And our student reporters are set up down on the field. And with that, we'll go down to Elijah Rivera, Tyler Carl Bond, our student reporters with our player of the game.
Elijah Rivera with D11 Sports here with Matt Frohn and Ben Carlin. Offensive player of the game with Matt Frohn. What was your thoughts on the game?
It's just great. I mean, I want to put everything that we've worked with for the past 10 months into place, and I'm just so thankful that everything played out. And I'm just glad that we're here today with this one.
You guys are both seniors. How does this feel?
It's a great day. The atmosphere. I've been playing on this field since 3rd grade. Notre Dame and the program has given me everything. And, I don't know, Al, if you want to put me on camera anymore with this broken nose. But, it's just so much fun. We had a great time out here. We really pulled it together at halftime and finished off the regular season with a bang. Just, big thing that we said throughout the week was that this is the beginning, it's not the end, so stay tuned.
You guys are down 16 at half. What was said?
Just we got to do what we got to do, erase the score, and play like it's our last game.
Yeah, at halftime I was getting this baby all glued up, so yeah, he's the guy you're going to ask.
Good job, guys.
Thank you.
Back to you, Al.
There you go. All right, guys, great job down in the field. Down there, and Ben Carlin calling me out. He has a rather broken nose, but we'll still put him on each and every time, doing a great job coming over there. And, thanks again to Tyler Carlbon and Elijah Rivera. Matt, they did a great job, without question. Your thoughts of this final game for us as well?
I think it's a great way to end the Colonial League schedule. I mean, you talked about how this schedule is going to change moving forward. I mean, what a way to go out. What a game for us to have as a final one. And what a game for these two teams. I know Wilson going off there, Coach Lavach and his staff, they're not – this is a sour taste for them. But they left it all on the field just like Notre Dame did. And I think you saw 2 quality teams come through today and play their tails off and really work it. And then, it just came down to finishing a game and playing 4 quarters and a little bit of maturity on the Notre Dame side.
Now, that'll do it for us. Hope you enjoyed our coverage here of high school football as we take you towards the playoffs now. Notre Dame wins this one by a final score of 40-22. Thanks a lot to Tyler Carlbon down in the field, and also Ben Carlin and Elijah Rivera. Game produced by SFBN and the Sports Fan Base Network. R.A. Bluestein and his staff did a great job once again, and thanks to Matt as well, and hope you enjoyed it again. Best of luck to Wilson and Notre Dame as they move on into the postseason. That's all for now. I'm Al DeCarlo saying so long from Notre Dame. They win this one. Final score once again of 40-22. Have a great afternoon.